Welcome to Read the Book First, the Book 2 movie adaptation podcast. This week, we're talking all things heated rivalry, what we have all been obsessed with for months now. And to help us break it down, Jen has returned.
Hello, hello.
Oh my gosh. If you've not listened to last week's episode, go listen to our thoughts on the books. But we're talking all about season one of Heated Rivalries because we can say season one because they've confirmed season two will be is greenlit. Thank God.
It is indeed. Originally, when we found out that the guys had signed on for 3 seasons, I was like,
Hmm.
oh, maybe that means they're going to split the long game into 2 seasons and, incorporate everybody else's books. But now we know Rachel has another book coming, which means we
Yep.
can potentially have a whole third season and it's going to be beautiful.
I'm so excited. And this show, I think I rewatched it this weekend and I tried to do the math. I have watched episodes 1 through 4 7 times and episodes 5 and 6 less than that just because they came out later because I essentially rewatched the whole season every time an episode came out um until the last two episodes. And so I think I've seen the full season start to finish since it's been finished in December, uh, at least 4 times. And so like I've seen the show like almost a dozen times now. It's just like
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's just
When I rewatch
obsessed.
now, it's hard for me to just not binge the whole show because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
we're snowed in right now. What am I gonna
Yeah.
do?
I
I
know.
literally can't get outside of my house. My
Hmm.
car is parked down the hill because the city
Hmm.
told me I had to get it off the street. I'm not going anywhere. I
Hmm.
might as well just rewatch Heated Rivalry. And I don't know how many times I've watched. I am not keeping track
Hmm.
because I just don't need to know that about myself.
No.
I don't
Yeah.
need to know. I will
Yeah.
tell you, episode 4 is my least rewatched episode. That
Yes.
one, emotional gut punch.
Uh-huh.
Least rewatched episode. Beautiful, cinematic,
Yeah.
incredible. I hate it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Hmm. Yeah. We'll just go episode by episode, and future Janessa will just put chapter markers for each episode. I'm now claiming I'm going to do that. So, future
hold you
Janessa,
to it.
got to do it. Um,
Hmm.
Episode one, Rookies. This is one of the best first episodes of TV ever.
Yes,
And
yes.
so I talked about this last week, but I didn't read the book first. I know, what a shame. And I kind of avoided, honestly, watching the show. I thought it was just going to be like a really bad, like worse than Red, White, and Royal Blue cheesy thing. And
Because
then
that's all
after
we're ever given. All
yes,
we're ever given is
yes.
terrible
Hmm.
adaptations.
Hmm. And then I like saw like one or two clips on Instagram or TikTok, and I was like, just kidding. Let me go back. And I watched this episode, and I was just like, this is cinema.
Yes.
This is
It's
cinema.
my favorite thing that Jacob Tierney has said for every single interview he's done is that this is a show about queer joy and that he loved the books and that he wanted the books to reflect the show and the
Hmm.
show to reflect the books, and he did it so beautifully. I know that one of the very first clips they ever shared was the gym scene that we get in
Yes.
Rookies, and it's just Ilya passing Shane his water bottle and they both drink from the same. And the thing was, I Hudson did some interview where he's like, I was really surprised people were so feral over that scene. That scene is biblically accurate to the book. It is
Yes.
exactly what happens in the book. We never get that. So them sharing that casual little scene, and it's the first time that we get to see them as Shane and Ilya, and it's the first time we get to hear Connor's accent, and it's so good. It was beautiful. It was incredible. I was not surprised people were feral
Hmm.
over that because we have only been given god awful adaptations. Some are better than
Yes.
others, but they always cut out key parts.
Hmm.
Jacob did none of that, and I love that
Mm-mm.
about
Yeah. And there's some sort of magic, especially in the first two episodes. The amount of time that passes between the
him.
beginning of
Mhm.
episode one and the end of episode two, it's magic that he was able to fit that in and take the stuff out that we didn't necessarily need, but also nothing felt missing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Any
And
changes he made the show stronger.
yes.
Jacob Tierney could I would follow that man into war. I don't
Yeah.
have better words to describe it. It's just that man
Yes.
has not failed me. I don't think he ever will. I
Yeah.
appreciate him so much.
When I realized he was the one that was the creator of this show, I am a huge Letterkenny fan, and I was just like, this is not the vibe of Letterkenny at all. And so I was like, wait, this is the same guy, which I just think shows how much range he has as a creative person.
Mhm.
And like he in Heated Rivalry, he's just flexing his muscles. He's like, I can do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that the beginning we have a lot of like sports ESPN-esque voiceover. And
Mhm.
so just like the exposition to set it all up. And I love when Shane is introducing himself to Ilya outside and Ilya's smoking and Shane immediately is like, I must follow the rules. You shouldn't be smoking.
I'm pretty sure not supposed to smoke here. Okay.
Yeah. And this is where at this point I didn't know that Connor's Story was an American because I didn't look up
Yeah.
who he was probably until episode 4. I
Hmm.
thought this man was just straight out of Russia. Like I was like,
As
where's this
he
Russian
started
actor?
doing interviews, I was like, who is this? Here's the thing, not only that he's American, boy's from West Texas.
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 But I love that we see their like attitudes about hockey in this moment as well as just about the world. Like Shane is like he's serious, but he's also trying to like play by the rules, literally with the smoking thing, but also like
Yes.
be friendly to your rival. Where Shane's like, I don't, or no, Ilya's like, I don't give a fuck. Also, who the fuck are you to tell me anything about my life? And I love that.
I think it's funny. One of my favorite things about the way Connor has brought Ilya to life. He does this thing with his eyes when Ilya is like processing, where his eyes jump back and forth. And you can always see it on the screen. It doesn't matter if it's a close up of his face, if it's
Mm-hmm.
further away, it is active. You can see
Mm-hmm.
his eyes jumping back and forth. And there are so many interactions that he goes through, especially with Shane. But this first one, it's just very like casual until Shane
Mm-hmm.
keeps being nice to him and he's like, all right, little weird boy, hello. Like, that's kind of it for him. He's like, you're not going to be so nice when we beat you. And then Shane's like, not happening. And Ilya's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It starts like that's it for Ilya. I also love the conversation and I love that Connor and Hudson are weighing in on like who fell first because
Mm-hmm.
I do think it was like both of them in that moment. They were like, I don't know what this is, but I kind of
Mm-hmm.
like it. And that's just it.
Mm-hmm.
It hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm. This is before they're drafted, right? So Canada wins whatever championship they're doing, and they have the iconic slow skate of Shane going across the screen. They get drafted, then we have the gym scene, which is just like so when the gym scene came on, and I was like, okay, they're definitely like when Shane's sitting there doing whatever workout, and I'm like, okay, the Russian guy's gonna come in, and in my head I was like, they're gonna make this linger, and they have like the hand moment when they're with the water bottle, and then they go like and then like not much later when they eventually get up to the room, which is 6 months, but like not that long in the show, my brain was
Yeah.
just like, oh, they're not waiting episodes.
Mm-mm.
They're going for it.
I'm still fired up that somebody told Jacob that they shouldn't kiss till episode 5 because you don't understand the books. You don't understand the audience. You don't understand cinema. Okay.
Yeah. If they had waited till episode 5, that would have been years.
It wouldn't have made any sense,
Yeah.
quite genuinely. And
Yeah.
what makes sense for their story is that they are these 18-year-old athletes at the top of
Mm-hmm.
their game who
Mm-hmm.
find each other attractive. Like, they're both hot. They find each other hot. They're gonna have a physical relationship. And it starts like that. And it takes a while for the feelings to develop. But like, that's normal. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't they do that? That makes no sense to change that. One of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite things also, Connor and Hudson are so great at these really like minute facial expressions. And I think that's so cool in the way that they bring Shane and Ilya to life. If we're going back to the gym scene, right? So Shane takes a drink from the water bottle, hands it back to Ilya. Ilya winks at him, and you see Shane's head like flinch back. And
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of like, oh, it's like these small micro movements that sure don't mean anything necessarily, but they
But
do.
they but they
But they
do.
do.
Especially since
They
they are
all mean
kept in.
something. They
because what
all mean
also
something.
what this show is so good, and like we've already talked about a little bit, but like cinematically, this show is gorgeous. In that gym scene, the camera focuses down on Ilya's neck as if we are seeing from Shane's perspective, and we are
Yes.
seeing Shane realizing and like, oh, I have this like sexual curiosity be about this man. Like this is like we're assuming his like first like realization that this is not
Yes.
like a normal thing that he has experienced.
And if you've read the books, that is exactly what's happening
Yeah.
for him. And I think
Hmm.
it's so cool that they just balance each other. Like if you've read the books first, it enhances the show. If you read the books
Hmm.
after, it enhances the show. Like no matter how you
Hmm.
do it, you should do both. I
Yes.
personally think you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't do both. But the
Hmm.
way that you get to see how they brought all of these things to life, all of these inner thoughts, all of these inner monologues that are happening, because they are incredible actors, truly
Hmm.
like gifted at their craft, so excited for like the work that they had put in. And I don't
Hmm.
think anybody expected it to blow up the way it has,
No.
but I'm just glad that like for the two of them, this is not the first project they've done, but they can look back and be like, this was my thing. This was the
Hmm.
project. And I love them. And I'm so
Yes.
glad that like I know other people auditioned. I cannot imagine that we would have gotten the same heated rivalry with anybody else. Like it
Yep.
is them and it is Jacob. It would not have been the same show had they cast other people.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. Um, we have a time jump. We see bits and pieces about uh Ilya's shitty brother Alexei, which you mentioned that that's not his name in the book, but that's because they totally had forgotten what their brother's name
Yes.
was. Or like, let's just give him
Jacob
this
and
Russian
Rachel were
name.
like, we actually couldn't remember. So his name is Andre in the books, but it is
Yeah.
Alexei in the show.
Yeah. Um, and uh then we see the next time they see each other before they're playing in their non NHL whatever mock-up uh to to avoid copyright issues league before they're in the pros, they have one more matchup, Russia versus US, and the US wins this time. And then we have the mirroring skating of
Mhm.
Ilya going across. And it's both like, yes, it's a little bit campy because there's a lot of sound effects and like it's used as like a shift into the next scene. But they do such a good job in this first episode specifically setting up the rivalry because before we have like the layers of the rivalry, right? Because we have them being star rookies, they're drafted first and second. They're winning back and forth. So they have the hockey rivalry. But then you have the like tension of quote hating each other just because they want to
Mhm.
fuck each other tension. And this is before they even have the emotional relationship. And I just think
The
they do
best
such a
one.
good job of like stacking it.
Yes. Just the way they mirrored so many things in the show, which was cool because I picked up on some of them. I missed so many because they had so many mirror images and so many of them are callbacks to the first episode. And
Mm-hmm.
I loved seeing
Mm-hmm.
it the further you get, but it's so fun going back and rewatching the first episode and then remembering all of these things that'll be mirrored later on.
Yes. We have another time jump. This is where we have them doing their photo shoot, and it's like and Ilya's mentioned, yeah, it was my idea to bring you on, which is like, okay, like it shows that he has like one power in the NHL whatever promo, but also the like tension they have. But this is like the most like Crosby and my brain stopped. What's his name? Oh,
Not
Obachek?
Ovi. Not Ovi. We hate Ovi.
No, we don't like him, but like they had that rivalry.
They did. They
Yeah,
did.
so like, and obviously the people are always like, "Oh, this is just Crosby and Novacek fanfic," and it's like, no, there are definitely inspirations. I think the most powerful one is this photo shoot because they did one when they were, newbies in the
Yeah.
NHL. But like, yes, we don't like them. But
And Rachel did say that
yes,
like their rivalry was the inspiration for this.
inspiration.
They
But
are very much
these
not
characters are not
based
them.
on them,
Yeah.
not based on them, but the rivalry itself.
Yes. Yeah. Like that and the fact that he's Russian, I think are the only reasons that people are like, oh, it's them. I'm like, no, the rivalry, yes, it's fun to have a rivalry in hockey, and that's what that everything else is different. But
Yeah.
I think the photo shoot, they kind of almost recreate some of the photos, which is a little funny, I think. But then they have the shower scene. And this is the first time we see their butts. The
Mhm.
butts that change the
It's
world.
like it's really also like it's the only time you just get full on butt,
Just
like
mm-hmm,
unobscured. There's no side angle. It's just
mm-hmm,
butt.
mm-hmm,
And I think it's so funny. I also really love Hudson being like, listen, I've been working out. This was earlier in shooting.
mm-hmm.
And he, the two of them in interviews are incredible. But
Yes.
him talking about like, I've gained 9 pounds of clappable material by the time we finished filming. Hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the first scene you get of like these two really hot athletes, and you're looking at them and you're not just like, oh, they're so cute. You're like, oh, these are really hot
Mm-hmm.
athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Shane, I love the way they did the scene because one, it follows the book exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you see Shane's internal panic. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like looking at Ilya, and then he's like, oh, I can't be looking at him. And then he's looking at Ilya again. And Ilya looks over and he's like, oh, you like what you see, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And Shane's like, stop it. You stop. You're the problem. Because he doesn't know what to do. He's
Yeah.
freaking out. He's never liked somebody before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's geeking out over it. And I like how they transition that scene into the locker room and how
Mm-hmm.
Shane's like, not here. He was sitting there waiting, holding his shoe, waiting for Ilya to come around the corner before he puts it on.
Yep.
Big dog, you want him, and that's fine. It
Mm-hmm.
cracks me up. Also, not to objectify Connor, but Ilya coming around the corner in that locker room,
Yep. Yep. I know.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'll say about it. That's the only
Yep.
respectful thing I have to say, but just
I
insane.
agree.
Insanity.
Truly.
You move
Um,
on to their
yeah.
first official hookup.
Yeah. And so they make a plan. He's like, what if I knock at 9:30, would you open? He's like, I might open.
I might
And
not.
yeah. And I
Insane.
love that we see Shane's like getting in a suit and he's like, this is stupid. And then he like sits in the dark.
He's just like psyching himself out so bad. He's like, "What are you
Understandably.
doing?" Understandably, I would be
Hmm.
doing the exact same thing. It's
Yeah.
just funny because this is in, 4K,
Yeah.
him staring at himself in the mirror,
Yep.
being like, "What are you doing?"
What are you doing? And then I also love that Ilya runs into Shane's mom in the elevator and she tries to like shake his hand and he's just like awkwardly, oh, it's going up. Because he's like,
Which is
I'm gonna
so
go
funny.
kiss your son. Don't talk to me.
I've also seen people talk about like when you get to the finale,
Hmm. Hmm.
waking up the next night, like remembering that one
Yep.
time she saw
Yep.
Ilya in the elevator.
Yep.
So funny to me. I'm holding on to that as canon. I don't care if anybody
Yep.
else thinks it is. That's fine. I'm
Yeah.
holding on to that.
Yeah. And then they have their first kind of like hookup, and I love that Ilya has to like initiate and like all of it because again, Shane's just like and like almost at like panicking. He's like, I'm here, I'm having a good time. I don't know what, and we don't quite see Ilya's like full like humorous side here. We see bits of it, right? Like he's being kind of like, is teasing him a little bit, but like we're starting to see that goofier side of Ilya and Shane's still just in his like wide-eyed deer in headlights. What's going on?
Yes. I will say every one of their hookups, it is very important to me personally, the boob grabs.
Hmm.
Like just I love that. It's like a grounding thing for them. And
Hmm.
I love it.
Hmm.
And I also the way Ilya's face lights up when Shane folds his clothes is one of my favorite parts of that scene.
Yep.
Like, hookup is fine, but like Ilya's face, like cracking in this big smile because he's watching Shane fold his clothes is so cute to me. And
Hmm.
I just love it. And it's another one of those callbacks where like Shane is autistic and it's
Hmm.
not like written out in the book, but autistic people have identified with him. Rachel later on, one of her children was diagnosed and she's
Hmm.
like, oh no, I can see that. And I know for some people it's more important that it be strictly laid out, like Shane
Yeah.
says in the book that he's autistic, but those pieces of him, the neurodivergent pieces, are
Hmm.
Ilya's favorite parts all the
Yep.
time. And I
Hmm.
love it so much.
Yes. it's just so good. And then after they hook up, they have like we have like months go by, but we see like the hockey part of the rivalry is starting to build. We see Ilya just being a cocky little asshole and his winking in his interview, which is just like, goddamn.
Snaps and claps, snaps and
Yep.
claps. Big fan.
And they end up eventually their teams play, Boston and Montreal play, and they're like flirting uh during like while they're playing, like Ilya's trying to like mess with him and Shane's just like, we're here to play a hockey game. What are you doing?
Yes. So there's an interview where Shane's being interviewed in French.
Yes.
Shane is Canadian. He's on a Canadian team. Like, homie speaks French, right? My favorite part about this scene is Ilya does not speak French. So he's watching this French interview that's happening for Shane and then mocking him in Russian because he can't speak French, but he's still like, oh, you're so perfect, meh, 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 in Russian. And it's so funny to me every single time I watch it because he doesn't know what they're saying. He doesn't have the captions on his TV. He just says, oh, you can speak French. And he like says things later on too, where he's like, oh yeah, you could probably learn Russian in 3 days with no accent. And it's so funny to me every time he rags on Shane.
Yeah. Then we have the all-star interview where they're sitting at the press table and Ilya's just like, for the first time, kind of like speechless and like shook. And, you know, Shane has the momager of the year. So he's been prepared for this moment his whole life. And here's what I'm going to say. And here's how I'm going to explain it all. And I love that we have the bits, you know, of Ilya being like, what he said, you know, but then the foot touch, because that comes back in the last episode. And I just, it's like that foot touch is not just like them being rebellious and like having this sexy secret that they have this thing between each other, but it's also like comforting each other. Like,
well, it's also, that's one of the scenes where like reading it in the book, when you're watching the show, you see Ilya's eyes jumping back and forth. Dude is from Russia. He is working on his English. That reporter just asked him a mile-long question, all in English, with a bunch of words that he may not know yet. And he's trying to process the question, but he like didn't, you see the point where he like looks off to the side and like is not clocking what's being said. And in the book, Shane's like, why would they ask him that? Like, that's such a convoluted question. That's such a big question. Why would they ask him that? And that's why Shane's like, oh, if I can go first and answer first, because in the book, he's like, why would they do that?
Yeah.
And he sees that Ilya's uncomfortable. And Ilya, in the show, you see them like pressing their feet together, and it's like this little piece of comfort for them, and it's so cute.
I like that Scott Hunter here clocks that they have something going on between them here. Immediately, he's like, hey, y'all.
I understand that they told Francois that Scott didn't know. I'm just saying, Francois is a great actor. I love him as Scott Hunter. You did not convince me Scott Hunter didn't know anything. Scott Hunter knew immediately. Scott Hunter was also just like,
which I'm okay with. I think that strengthens the later parts where we see Scott Hunter later. I think it adds.
I agree. And I get that Francois has come out and said that they told him Scott Hunter knows nothing. I get that. That's not how I choose to perceive it.
No. Yeah. They're wrong.
You're actually incorrect. Thank you.
Yeah. And then we get the 1 2 2 1.
Yes. All the numbers are so funny to me. And I just saw a post somebody did today where if you take the numbers that they say, so there's 3 different ones. There's the 1 2 2 1.
There's 1 9 something.
1919 is Shane's like door code. And then there's another one where like, Shane comes to Ilya's room.
Yeah.
If you go to that timestamp on the episode, it's like a moment. And I was like, you know what, Jacob? I don't have the brain capacity for this.
That's amazing.
I know.
I'm going to have to find this Reddit thread.
I will send it to you.
Amazing. But they end up meeting up in room 1 2 2 1. They're like fooling around and, you know, they're like, okay, do you want to like fully like have sex? And Shane's like, Scott Hunter's next door. We can't do it here, which like fair, you know? Yeah. And so they make plans the next time that they're in Boston or Montreal or whatever, that they'll do that. But I love that Shane is still like, but how will we? And then Ilya just like grips his phone and he's like, here, and puts in the
It's always,
numbers.
oh my God, Hollander, you are so boring.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me every time. It also, something important just as a woman watching this
Hmm.
scene was Ilya clocking Shane's discomfort and
Hmm.
immediately being like, oh, okay,
Ilya is a consent king.
really is. And
Hmm.
like, he will give people shit till the end of time, but he cares about people and he
Yes.
is never like openly out to hurt people.
Hmm.
I think that that's like, he's a hockey player who talks shit. That's part of his job,
Yeah.
but he cares about people and
Yeah.
he never wants anyone around him to feel like
Hmm.
uncomfortable in that space.
Yeah.
I will say one other thing I loved. There are so many callbacks that if you haven't read the book, you might not clock it at first. But so Shane or Ilya likes to say stuff to Shane to rile him up, right? He likes to
Hmm.
smoke a cigarette before he sees him because he knows it'll make him like a little
Yeah.
snippy. He likes to, when he first shows up in the hotel room that night, he says, get on your knees. In the book, he says that because he wants to piss Shane off. And then when
Hmm.
Shane does it, he's like, oh, wow. And you see Hudson, or you see Connor mouth wow.
Hmm.
Like when Shane goes down, Ilya's just like, whoa, dude. And it's so funny to me, all of these like small things from the book that are not like written in the book. They might have been written in the script, but they're not written in the book.
Hmm.
And they just like make it work so perfectly that even if you don't recognize the fact that Ilya is a shit starter,
Hmm.
you figure it out. You know,
Yeah.
like the way he acts, the way he performs is very funny to me.
Yeah. No, totally. And God, and I just love that he even like before Shane can go to the next step of like, okay, we're gonna have each other's numbers. How are we not gonna get like,
Mhm.
because their forbidden love is not only that, they're currently closeted, but it's that and that they're rivals and rival hockey teams. So like if they were dating rival hockey teams, they could be sharing plays or whatever, letting each other win.
In the
But also
games.
then you have the like extra step of just like the homophobia in the NHL. But then you also have the fact that, which we get into later episodes, that it's you cannot be gay or out and gay in Russia. And so like as we go through these episodes, that pressure gets added and added. Right now it's just mostly focused on the like closeted aspect.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I really like here that Ilya just goes, it's like, okay, I'll be Jane and your phone and you'll be Lily. Or did I get that wrong?
Backwards. Because it's a play
Backwards.
on their name.
Yes, yes, yes,
Shane is
yes.
Jane. Ilya is
Is
Lily.
yes, yes, yes. Because you see for a second, like him grabbing the phone, Shane's just like confused and like, what's going on? And he's like, Ilya's like, we can text each other and also our names are different. It's fine.
Yeah. Which, you know, pro
Yeah.
tip, that only works if you actually use the names.
Yes.
Also, if you're texting a girl and she sends you a dick pic,
Mm,
people might have questions.
yeah. Interesting.
Hey.
Just saying. Um the next time they're supposed to see each other, they're supposed to like, I guess I don't know if I need to use a euphemism, but like go to home base, I guess. Home run.
Home run.
I
You
thank
got
you. Thank you. I don't play baseball. Can you tell? Um, but it gets canceled because of weather. And so when Ilya goes back to his house, Svetlana is there. And
it. Hmm.
Svetlana is in the book, but like not very actively. Like it's towards the later parts, and she does become that like, casual hookup that Ilya does have be and like a touchstone of home because she is Russian.
Hmm.
But she is active in the show, and that actress is amazing.
I love Ksenia so
Yes.
much.
But I love the addition to her character. In the first episode, she is just like a casual hookup from
Yeah.
home here. And when I was watching this for the first time, I was like, oh shit, there's gonna be a weird love triangle.
Hmm.
And like I wasn't totally wrong, but like not Svetlana. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's so smart to throw that here in the end because we have been setting them up to like meet and have no issues. And they're like, oh, here's the first little bump. We're like us, the audience, being like, does Shane know Svetlana? What does Svetlana know? Like, there's all these questions. I thought it was a good change to add her here.
I love her character. And I didn't realize this till I was doing my rewatch.
Hmm.
She doesn't speak any English in the show whatsoever.
Right.
She's like living in Boston, just like
Hmm.
Ilya. Um, and originally in the book, like she's not from Russia. I really loved the change of like they've known each other since childhood. They grew up
Hmm.
together in Russia. They both
Hmm.
live here, but like Ilya deserves a safe place, and he like did not have that in the books.
Hmm.
He had Shane, but he only had Shane part-time. He
Hmm.
only had Shane in like little bits and pieces. And giving him Svetlana at the very least gave him like a home base that was safe for him. And I really
Yes.
just I love having her character in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we get to the Las Vegas Rookie of the Year award show. And Shane ends up winning. And like we're meeting also as we're going, we're meeting all these hockey players. Like Scott Hunter shows up again here, but I don't know if we've met Vonnie yet or the other guy that's on Shane or Ilya's team. I forget his name. But
Marlo.
yeah,
I love
yeah. But
I
like,
think we
we're
saw
going,
the
yeah. Um, but there's partying, having a gala, and as Shane's like enjoying it, but he's constantly looking for Ilya. He's like looking around the room and he's not there. And so he
Mhm.
ends up finding Ilya out on the roof, and they have this like argument. Because Shane thinks he's all upset because he didn't win, and he's like, "You're upset because I won, and how dare you be upset?" And Ilya's like, "It's not about you, dude." It's
I
so
think it's
good.
also like Shane can only work off of context clues, right? And
Yes.
so, like, if Ilya's not telling him things, he's like filling in the blanks for himself with the information he does have. And they
Hmm.
also came from such insanely different backgrounds. So, like, Ilya's talking about, like, I go home in a few days. And Shane's like, must be nice. He likes his parents. His
Hmm.
parents are decent people. Ilya doesn't have that.
Hmm.
And like that's not something that Shane knows, but it's
Yep.
also just not something he is comprehending because it is
Hmm.
not information that has been given to him. So
Yeah.
the only thing he can think of is, oh, you're being such a dick because I won and I beat
Yeah.
you and I finally won something and blah 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 blah.
Hmm.
And like I understand the brain spiral, and I'm also like, my guy,
Hmm.
he looks sad. Okay. You really think that's over losing something? But
Yeah.
it's context clues. And then I do love that they, because it's such a physical relationship, like they do find this physical comfort in each other.
Hmm.
And that's kind of what Ilya was going for. And then Shane freaked out, understandably. We're in
Hmm.
public, we're in suits, anybody could
Yep.
see us. What are you doing? Um, I will say, realizing that this is the first time we see Shane walk away while Ilya's calling for him, not good for my mental health. It's
Hmm.
fine, but I think it's an important scene. I also it's so interesting going back and watching it because the first time I watched it, HBO, obviously, it was too dark.
Yep.
And you watch it when they fix the lighting on it, it is an insane difference where you can see so many facial expressions coming out.
Hmm.
Um, and like I said, they are both just such incredible actors that all of these small micro things matter in these
Hmm.
scenes. They're just really good at these subtle things that have a heavy impact. And
Hmm.
that's another thing where like people talk about you have to put your phone down to watch this show. There are so many unspoken things that happen that if you're not watching, you're just not going to see it. And it
Hmm.
doesn't have the same impact as if you were, eyes glued to the
Yeah.
screen.
I agree. Yeah. But that's how the first episode ends. So, and I like that they end it of them having a disagreement,
Mhm.
right? Because it makes us want to watch more. But that first episode spans about 3 years,
I'm
which
glad you
is,
took notes on the timeline because
I,
the
yeah,
timeline's confusing to me even with the book. So I
yes.
just don't.
It's episode 2, Olympians, just before we get starts, begins summer 2011 and ends summer 2014. So it spans 4 years. And there's a lot of jumps in this, but the way they do it is so good. We have like a training montage of the off season of Shane in Montreal and Ilya in Moscow, and they're texting each other and flirting with each other as they're like running and doing whatever.
Yeah.
And then we kind of have a really fast montage of when they play each other in the fall and Montreal wins, and then they Ilya is like trying to flirt and hook up, but it doesn't quite lead anywhere. It's just flirting.
Yeah.
But then in winter, Ilya's like sexting him like before the game and like trying to like flirt with him still.
Mhm.
And uh that season, Shane's team does not get to the playoffs, but I love when he's watching Ilya in the playoffs, he has like his hoodie thing in his
His little
mouth.
string in his mouth that he's
Yeah.
chewing. Yeah.
Where and then we see
Oh yeah.
Ilya, thank you, have his cross in his mouth. Because oh
Mhm.
yeah, he always because like in the book, book accurate, he always has a cross, wears a
Mhm.
cross. Not book accurate, there is no huge bear tattoo on Ilya,
Yeah.
which I think is okay because it is funny in the book because he ends up playing for the Boston Bears, so it's like no, it's bear because Russia, is his
Yeah.
excuse in the book, but they changed the team names for copyright stuff and whatever else and also to make it funnier. Um,
Jacob did say we're getting a loon tattoo next season, so I'm fine. I'll
yeah,
survive. You know?
yeah. But I thought that the like thing, the string in their mouths, I think it's just such a fun like mirroring of like their obsession with each other, like
Mhm.
a literal oral fixation. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
We
Um,
also, I think it's so interesting too, because
mhm.
in the book, like they are hooking up throughout this
Yeah.
time period. And I
Yes.
kind of like that in the show, it's just missed opportunities,
Yeah.
missed chances. Like they're in communication, but like
Hmm.
they aren't getting together.
Yeah. No, I like it too. I like that it adds to the tension and it
Yeah.
helps with the time jumps because like if they were actually hooking up here, we'd have to see parts of it. Not that we don't want to, but like it would slow down
It would be more
the
broken up. Yeah.
movement. Yeah. And then we get like towards like fall of 2012. This is where he sends the dick pic and
Mhm.
and Shane freaks out, understandably.
Which
Uh,
is so funny because Hayden, as his roommate and as his best
yeah.
friend, every time is like, dude, you need to chill.
Yeah.
Hayden could not care less. You are the only person freaking out about this, and it makes it
Yeah.
so much funnier. Like he slams the phone down, and Hayden just looks at him, and
It's
he
like
just
Boston Lily.
smiles awkwardly and picks the phone back up. It's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like Hayden's just enjoying his vacation away from his children so he can sleep.
Yeah, he leaves poor Jackie home alone with his
Truly.
entire hockey team worth of
Yeah.
children, like a
Yeah.
crazy person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did see something interesting, throwing back to the fact that Jacob created Letterkenny
Hmm.
and created Shorzy. Marlo, Jackie, and
Yep.
someone else are all from they all did
Elena.
cameos on Letterkenny.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so funny. But I think it's cool that like Jacob's like, I like these people. Let's bring them into this new
Yeah.
project. And
Yeah.
maybe they auditioned, maybe he reached out. I don't know. But I just appreciate that like
Yeah.
people who have paid better attention to Letterkenny than I have like
Hmm.
made the connection.
Yeah. The like sexing montage ends in spring 2013. And so between summer 2011 and spring 2013 is all under 5 minutes of the show. I
Mhm.
paused it to take note. And I love that. And also a little other detail I love between this little montage of years of sexting is their technology changes. And I think that's
Yes.
such because like this, I was joking with my friend, we're like, this is a historical piece.
Historically accurate. We love it.
But it's like because they go back, like the fashion slowly changes. I mean, yes, they're in athleisure most of the time, so that doesn't necessarily change. But the athleisure kind of changes, but the technology changes, and the
Yes.
way they show the like ESPN of the hockey changes.
Uh-huh.
And I think those little touches is one of the reasons why this show is like it doesn't seem like a big thing, but it does. The attention to detail of what
Yes.
makes sense, not even just like as an adaptation, but just as a hockey show or a
Yeah.
show about the mid-aughts makes sense, you know?
Hmm.
But I love that. But a big chunk of this episode starts in fall 2013. Shane and Ilya are sexting before like or flirty texting, whatever you want to call it, before the game. I love this where Ilya puts his phone down and his teammate is like, "Oh, you're blushing over there, Roz," and he goes, "Never in my life have I blushed. Russians do not blush.
Russians do not do this. It is
Russians do not do this."
This is probably my most quotable episode because
Yeah.
it's just like somebody will say something and it does just trigger the little
Hmm.
brain worm I have.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
always so funny to me. I also This is another one of those scenes where like Ilya shows up in the alley
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "You will murder me."
Mm-hmm.
Shane's like, "Maybe." As soon as Ilya steps in, he slams him against the wall, and you
Yeah.
see Ilya's mouth. Oh my
Oh my
god!
God.
And it's so funny to me because it's also like Shane is the more submissive one in their
Yeah.
relationship. That is just
Mm-hmm.
how it is. Like he doesn't really take charge that often. And
Yeah.
it's so funny when he does, or when
Yeah.
he like back
Because
in
it
episode one,
surprises Ilya every time.
every time he does something that surprises Ilya, you just like
Mm-hmm.
see it play out, and it's so funny.
And I love how they run up the stairs because they just start like casually and then they're racing up the
They're
stairs to
just
try and
little
beat
teenagers
each other.
being so stupid.
Yeah. And then they get in the apartment, and when Ilya goes, Mr. Businessman, Mr.
Mr.
Landlord,
Landlord.
those ones I quote all the time.
It's
I
so
was literally
funny.
paying a bill and I was like, Mr. Businessman.
Yes. There you go. So then they get into Shane's bedroom, and obviously, like Ilya's
Hmm.
chirping, like, you
Hmm.
bought all these pillows? No,
Hmm.
your mom did. No, I paid somebody,
Yeah.
which is still funny. And
Yeah.
then this is one of like top tier cutest scenes in the entire show is them just smiling at each other as they say, "No, you come here. No, you
Hmm.
come." It's adorable and cheesy, and I love
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
And Shane also makes some comment about you shouldn't smoke. In the
Yeah.
books, Ilya specifically smoked one cigarette before he came in so that Shane would yell at
Would
him.
say that.
That was
Yep.
it. That was
Yeah.
what he wanted. It's that meme where he's like, if you see some short little freckly boy hockey player with a bad weak backhand yelling at me, I'm exactly where I want to be. Like that's Ilya's meme. He is.
Yeah. And this is the first like actual sex scene that we get in this show. And it has a very like tender song. It's the song It's You starts to play. And so it makes the scene way more tender and about actual love than about like the physical part of the relationship.
Yeah.
But and it starts to fade to black. And I remember when it started to fade to black, I was like, oh my God, they don't have it. Like what are they doing? And then it comes
Mhm.
back and they're just in a different position. And it does that a
Yeah.
few more times. And I think
Huh?
that's so smart because one, it shows that they're not gonna hide from these like more graphic scenes. And two, it adds to the again the tenderness and it keeps it away from being too like pornographic, you know?
Uh-huh.
And it helps make it more artful and it's just, it's such a smart choice and a smart way of showing this.
Yeah. I also like I don't even know when you first pick up on like the emotional build starting for them, but it's been happening. Like they at this
Hmm.
point it's been years. It's been
Hmm.
happening. I didn't realize until this rewatch that in that scene, Ilya realizes Shane's about to finish, and that's what finishes Ilya.
Yep.
I just think that's some romance book shit. I get it.
Hmm.
Like maybe that doesn't happen in real life all the time, but it does sometimes. It
Hmm.
does sometimes, and I love
Hmm.
it every time.
Hmm. And when they're like saying goodbye, Shane's face as they kiss goodbye, he is
So soft.
smitten. He is in
So
love.
soft. Mm.
It just
I
like,
also there's this thing with Shane where 90% of the time when he's looking at Ilya's face, he's looking at his lips. He's not
hmm.
looking at the rest of his face. He is staring at his lips. And I love
Hmm.
it. I
Hmm.
like that he's one track minded.
Yeah, he
And he
is.
has this emotional connection
Hmm.
with Ilya, but like, why would you make eye contact? That's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, the next time jump is to the winter 2014 Sochi Olympics in Russia. And we have this is where we see Scott Hunter and Vonnie like surprise Shane. And then Vonnie has that moment where he's like, because they're like, oh, let's go support this male figure skater because Shane trained with him or whatever. And Vonnie has this line that at first, as a viewer, I was like, oh, is this gonna be like going to the homophobic
Yeah.
plot because I'm assuming it's hockey, it's gay, there's gonna be homophobia because um and he's like, well, that guy has a lot of balls and they're like, what? Why? He's like, well, because we're in Russia and he's coming here and being like, hey, it's me, I'm gay, look at me. And that takes like balls of steel. Like that's impressive. And it turns from like a homophobic, purely homophobic thing to like oh no, what he's doing is brave. Like,
Yeah.
yes, it wasn't the most poetic way to express that, but this is a hockey player, so this is as poetic as he's gonna get.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that was such a like smart thing to put here from the side character that barely shows up because we don't want it from a main character because that would muddy up the plot. But it's a someone who's still like a colleague of Shane, so it still adds to Shane's fear.
Hmm.
And this is
Yeah.
where Shane's like realizing, oh, Ilya hasn't texted me since we've been here because we're in Russia. And he's like
Yeah.
slowly putting that together. So I just thought that
And it's
was
again, he
smart.
works better with information given to him.
Yes.
And it's just not one of those things he's thought about because he's not openly gay, so it's not something he had to think about coming to Russia for the
Mm-hmm.
Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And then Shane sees Ilya watching whatever figure skating up by himself. So this is the like we see Ilya by himself in the very first episode watching Shane, right, where we have that mirroring bit, because then Shane and his mom end up watching Ilya later play. But then also in episode one at the end, where he's by himself on the roof. So this is Shane's third time seeing Ilya up by himself. And so he goes to talk to him. And obviously there's like something going on between them because they just fucked, months ago. And Shane's putting all this like context together and also being like, oh, that means he's going through something if he's by himself up there because that's
Yeah.
what he does is he goes by himself, you
Yeah.
know? And Elias is like, no, you can't talk to me, go away, which again makes sense.
Yes.
And I don't blame Ilya at all, but Shane's just like, what? Still, still processing. It's like, dude.
Well, and I think Shane takes things personally because
Yes.
again, it's like lack of information. And it's not just, oh, we're in Russia. And it's also like in the book, Ilya hates feeling like this.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like he can't look at Shane, he can't talk to Shane right now. Like he doesn't feel good and he wants Shane to make him feel better. And he can't do that because of
Mm-hmm.
being in his home country.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did like a really good job of showing that
Mm-hmm.
without it's not something they're gonna spell out, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it's one of those things like you're looking at Ilya and like he's just not himself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the Ilya we see in other
Mm-hmm.
places. Is Ilya in Russia is just a different person
Yeah.
because he
Yeah,
has
and
to.
then he has to be, and then we see even more of that when he's talking to his dad before the gala, and his dad's like mad at him for his team losing. But then throughout that conversation, his dad's like losing his train of thought, being like, "Where are we going? Where is, you know, your mom? Oh wait, your mom's dead. Where is my wife, your stepmom?" Like, and you see Ilya sitting there like taking all the anger, but then the minute his dad like has that memory issue, he's just like, this is where we're going. You're mad at me because we lost. We're gonna go talk to the general. Like, and it's just like seeing that side of Ilya, so hard.
It is. It is. He
Yeah.
like wants to be this dutiful son, and it's one
Hmm.
of those things where he just always knows that he will not be able to.
Hmm. Yeah. And at the gala, Svetlana saves him again. We love Svetlana.
We
Um,
love.
But then she takes him to this like fancy bathroom where this guy is, Sasha, who is trying to like he's flirting and trying to like and he's putting his hands all over Ilya and we know that they used to hook up. Um and I understand I like that they added this because at first I thought when I was watching it that Svetlana was gonna be like the like person in like the bisexual like love triangle that Ilya would be stuck in, but then she's not to bait and switch. Then there's this Sasha person, and we're like, okay, so Shane's not the only man Ilya's ever been attracted to, right?
Mhm.
Kind of not that like obviously if you're bisexual and you only like one person of the opposite gender, you're still bisexual, like that's valid. But like it confirms, I think, for a lot of folks who aren't as understanding of things, that like yes, Ilya is bisexual. Like
Mhm.
here he is. And then we also see him say like no to Sasha, which I think shows how serious he is about hockey right now, but also how serious he is maybe subconsciously about Shane.
Yeah.
So it's just so good.
It's like one of those things where like he may not fully understand why he's just not into it, but he's just like,
Hmm.
no,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. And so that's where the Sochi Olympics end in this episode at least. Um, then we have there's like Ilya's uh passionate speech he has before the game. Um, he's like, I want to see them cry and all of that. And then they
Yes.
end up winning the cup, which I think is such a needed moment for Ilya after we see the insight of him and his dad. It's like they lost the Olympics. He has to win that cup, and he does win that cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also love because back in Russia, like
Hmm.
Svetlana lays out the exact order things are gonna go down. And it's so funny because she's right. And I
Hmm.
like that we have this instance of like, this is a woman who knows hockey, enjoys hockey,
Hmm.
likes Ilya, and like shows up for him.
Hmm.
And Shane finds that in a person eventually, but it's like I like that her hockey knowledge is so good that she was like, this is exactly how it's going to go down. And she was right.
Yeah.
I love that for her. Big smart
Hmm.
brain stuff.
Yes.
I also love, oh, Hudson coming in to play Shane and the way he talks about Shane and the care that he takes when he is speaking about him, when he is showing up as Shane, I think is such a beautiful, incredible thing. And I also think, like, he talks about Shane kind of being not emotionally stunted, but it's hard for him to show emotion.
Hmm.
And then getting to see Shane watching Ilya win the cup and this little like chin tremor
Hmm.
and lip tremble. I don't know if I love or hate Hudson for that because it's so good. It's
Hmm.
just it's he's got the little bit of like tears welling in his eyes and it's this person that he cares about, that he's proud of, that is achieving this lifelong
Hmm.
dream, this thing that makes him feel on top of the world and he gets to watch it happen. And
Hmm.
it's such a good scene. I really I like the scene itself and then I really loved the scene when I recognized that happening on Shane's face. And it's just I love it.
Hmm. It's good. And especially because when we get to the league awards and Ilya shows up late, which I would be in a panic attack too. So real. That cheeky little presentation they gave,
So funny.
so funny.
I
Uh
also, with talking about them
yeah.
using the old technology,
Yes.
there is a take that they did where they used that phone and they pulled it out and it was so old, the camera wouldn't load.
Hmm.
And apparently Jacob's in the background going, okay, hold it. Okay, this is unusable. And they had to restart it because they had to wait for the phone to open the camera. So they
Hmm.
had to refilm that scene. But I think it's also like the way they stuck to the older technology, even
Yeah.
if it was terrible. I
Yeah.
love that.
You need, especially with all these time jumps, you need that. Otherwise, it would feel so confusing and not grounded.
Yeah, like, oh, it's
Yeah.
2009, but everybody has an iPhone 17. Like, doesn't make
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah. And then after they present it, they go to the bathroom, and Shane's pissed off because they haven't texted in 6 months since before the Olympics.
Yeah.
And then Ilya does the whole like, if you win, I'll do this, and or if I win, or if it's if I win, you'll do this, and if you win, you'll do this,
Yeah.
right? Um, and it's like they have this like really like this is the most outwardly like at least verbally like sub-dom part of it that we've seen so
Yeah.
far is Ilya like bossing Shane around because that's what Shane wants.
It makes him feel better when there are set expectations.
Yes. Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then they end up or Ilya ends up winning. And
Mhm.
so Shane goes up to the penthouse and we have bossy Ilyas drinking his fancy Russian vodka. Um,
Truly, the hottest Ilya's ever looked is when he just raises his arms up and he's standing there. I
yeah.
That scene, just that little bit, just sits in my brain. It's
Yeah.
the like confidence rippling off in that moment. Incredible.
Hmm. Yeah. And they end up hooking up and this one like there's still like this tension between them and you know as they're leaving they like he Ilya stays in bed as Shane goes and puts on his again folded clothes and you the pans back over and Ilya's like almost tearing up like he's not quite crying but he could tell emotionally he is just somewhere else
he just looks like out of it. And he's sitting
Yeah.
there like unlit cigarette in his mouth, just kind of like
Yeah.
there.
And then Shane is in the elevator and texts or drafts, "We didn't even kiss," and then deletes it. And that's how the episode ends.
Which was
And
such a rough ending.
like I believe they released two episodes at the beginning of the season, right? These two were
Huh?
out the same. Oh, so one and then one.
Huh?
Okay,
It
I
was one
watched when this
episode a week.
second episode came out because I watched these two back to back for the first
Yeah, it
time.
was one episode a week. So we ended on that. And then I'm sitting there. And it was also, we're about to get into episode 3.
Hmm.
We didn't know at the time. They just had stars. Nobody knew what the episode name was. And
Yeah,
everybody was like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? What is going
yeah,
on? Some people weirdly thought it was going to be a slur for the title. Odd. But it ended
interesting.
up being Hunter.
Yeah.
So then we end on this. And then I love the Scott and Kip episode. I love it.
Hmm. Hmm.
We ended on this. We didn't
Hmm.
even kiss. And then I had to wait 2 weeks to
That's
find out
so
what
smart.
next.
It's so
It is
smart.
so smart, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Jacob's so smart. I dislike that about him sometimes. Big brain shit. Hate it.
So, episode 3, Hunter, the bait and switch.
Mm-hmm.
It's so smart because it keeps people wanting to come back, right? But it's also smart within the context of Shane and Ilya's story.
Yes, 1000%.
Yes, because Game Changer, which is Scott and Kip's story, is the first book, but also it sets up so much for everyone else in the book series. So you couldn't have continued this TV show at all without sharing their story.
You can't do the Game Changer series without the Game Changers.
Yes.
It wouldn't
Yes.
make sense. But like, it's also just when you get to episode 5, it's less impactful if you
Hmm.
don't know anything about Scott and Kip.
Hmm.
Like them watching that happen on the TV doesn't mean as much to us
Yeah.
if we don't know who Scott and Kip are and we aren't invested in their love.
Yeah. And the fact that they were like, hey, we're going to take this whole book and make it a TV show that's under an hour and a half, um, is a feat itself. It makes
Yeah.
sense with Kip and Scott's book because it's just an instant love story
I,
with a lot of fucking.
I referenced them as U-Haul lesbians to my friend who is a happily married
Hmm.
U-Haul lesbian. And she like chuffed at me at first and was like, oh, whatever. And then we watched the episode and she's like, okay, well, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're U-Haul lesbians
Yeah.
in a nice way. I'm not saying
Hmm.
it in a derogatory way. It's
Yeah.
just they're all in from
Yeah.
the get-go.
Yeah. It starts with the 2014 Sochi Olympics with that bit we've already heard before of Hunter and Bonnie and Shane's conversation, but a little bit of them before they go in and talk to Shane. And instead of looking at Shane or Bonnie, the camera's like focused on Scott Hunter. And we hear the beginning bars of "I'll Believe in Anything" play, and which is just this like really sharp, like synth melody.
Yeah.
And unless you know that album, like if you're a millennial, then you're like myself, I was like, oh, I know this song. But like unless that, like you just think it's some weird because there's a lot of techno music already and like
Yeah.
synth music already in the show. So it's smart because it doesn't show up and like again till later, but like the audience is like, okay, it's just a song, you
Yes.
know? Which I just like rewatching it, I was like, oh my God, they're so
I do.
smart.
I have loved myself, unfortunately. So when I hear this song now, like it triggers this huge rush of emotions.
Yes.
I'm like happy and also about to cry
Yeah. Every
every time I
time.
listen to it.
Hmm. Yeah. And then it jumps backwards in time to 4 months earlier. And we see Scott running down the street, and people have been making fun of his run.
Literally, the amount of shit Francois has got for the run is so funny to me because he's like, I run
Yeah,
in like actual life. I run, and I'm
look
like,
at him.
but
I'm not
also
gonna make fun of him. He's in so much shape.
he also just looks like I agree with his
Hmm.
assessment. Like he's listening to these people talking shit on his performance as a hockey player.
Yeah,
And hockey is his life. That is
yeah,
all Scott Hunter really has for himself
yeah.
is hockey. And
Hmm.
he's listening to these people be like, he's not very good at it. I would
Hmm.
be running like shit too, trying to get away from that. First of all, take the headphones out, big dog. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'd be running crazy too. I also just the rewatching it, and I personally, Kip is God's strongest soldier. I would not be surviving direct eye contact with Scott Hunter looking at me like that. I'm sorry. I'm
Mm-hmm.
dead.
Mm-hmm.
Maria in the background going, girl, I
Uh-huh.
don't even have enough brain power to say that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Girl. That has been one of my like little vocal stems. This is like girl,
About
girl.
everything. My
Yeah.
cat does something. I'm just like, girl,
Which is like obviously something I have been
girl.
saying forever, but like
Yeah.
the new intonation in which I say it.
Yes.
Girl.
The emphasis. It's a
Yeah.
little different.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So they have this like really sweet meet cute at the smoothie counter. He buys a fancy little smoothie that sounds disgusting, blueberries and bananas.
It doesn't sound disgusting. It does look disgusting.
Yeah. If they had added some mango or pineapple, I'd be down. But just two
I
fruit
think
flavors, I
I
need
think
more
the only
flavor.
reason it doesn't look like a smoothie is because there's no ice in there.
Yeah.
There is no ice in that
Yeah.
blender.
Yeah.
That's why it looks watery. There's no ice to make a smoothie.
Mm-hmm. Then we followed Kip to the Kingfisher bar,
Mhm.
and I love the whole thank you, Kyle bit. And they're watching the hockey game, and they're like teasing him about like his hockey boyfriend, which he doesn't have. He's just
Yeah.
like, they're just being fun friends. Like you see Kip's whole world right there,
Yeah.
like even with their inside jokes, like it's so quick and so good and so well done.
I
Um,
also think it's funny because they like show Scott Hunter, he just scored. They're like
mhm,
showing a close up of him. And Sean, his friend who's there with
mhm,
him at the
mhm.
bar, says he's like, he's not even gay. And I didn't recognize it till this last rewatch.
And he's like,
Sean
make him
goes,
gay.
then make him gay. Valid response.
Yeah.
That's fine. It cracks me up. I also I love the Kingfisher. I love knowing that the Kingfisher is going to make a reappearance and is going to keep
Yes.
coming back. But I love it. I
Yes.
love the camaraderie and the friend group. The friend group
Hmm.
is very important.
Yes. Scott comes in again because something goes good with his game. He wants to make sure he repeats things, or as far as that's what he says, which is a very like pro
Casual
athlete.
situation.
It's a pro athlete thing to do, but also it's like, or you just want to see the cute boy again.
Yes. It
Um,
can be both. It's
yeah.
fine.
In the smoothie shop on the wall, there is a like rug tapestry thing that is mimicking the Game Changer logo from Dropout's game show. And I don't know if it's actually purposeful that they have that there, but some set director had to be like, hey, this is based off the book Game Changer. I am a nerd and I like Dropout. I'm gonna put Game Changer logo on the back wall. It has to. It's
Of
not
course.
confirmed, but like in my head it is.
It's one of those things where it's my canon. I don't care if
Yeah.
it's my canon.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. Um, and then the next time we're at the Kingfisher is when Elena's coming in, and I love that instead of the thank you, Kyle, Elena's like, fuck off, Kyle, but also here's
Yeah.
your shrimp.
Yeah, she brought him food, but
Yeah.
like, shut up,
But
Kyle.
but just that little thing adds to this world of the Kingfisher. Like we spent less than 2 minutes there. They're all buds. This is like one of their spaces they go to. Elena, like the women that Jacob Tierney have added to this show
Yes.
are Elena, I love. She's a business bitch and she will protect Kip at all costs. And I love her.
I think two things he did so strongly that I love about this show. Like he took these books that we love, that he loved,
Hmm.
and he is taking the parts that we all love and like bringing them to life. The women are so incredibly supportive and just like part of the narrative in the sense that they are these incredible supporting characters who have their own lives, have their
Hmm.
own things going on, but they care about these people.
Hmm.
And so they show up and they show up loudly and they show up
Hmm.
with love and they don't let them settle for things. And I think
Yeah.
that's so important. And the
Hmm.
other thing he did, which we see later on in this episode, in the beginning of it, or the beginning of this portion of it, is parents that
Hmm.
queer kids
Hmm.
deserve to have.
Hmm.
Is parents.
Absolutely.
Kip's dad. I love that man.
Every time he's on screen, I cry.
I put my life on the line for that man.
Hmm.
I love him.
Hmm.
And he is wonderful. And we get to see more of like Una and David later on
Hmm.
in a way that matches that kind of energy.
Yeah.
But this is just like, this isn't some hockey phenom
Hmm.
kid.
Yeah.
This is his kid Kip, and his
Yep.
kid is figuring life out.
Hmm.
And right now he works at a smoothie shop, but he wants to go back to school and he's doing this and doing that.
Hmm.
And like his dad is just phenomenal. And I
Absolutely.
love him. I love Elena. I love that he has this like huge support system in this life that Scott just does not have,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the show. But
Mm-hmm.
even in the books, like his three best friends are guys on his team.
Mm-hmm.
And even then he spends a lot of the book afraid to be himself with them.
Yes.
And he doesn't have this opportunity to be fully himself and fully open and like
Mm-hmm.
feel that love coming from people who care about him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's such a good way to highlight the differences between them,
Yes.
um, and kind of like how that leads to
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
relationship.
I think absolutely everything you just said, but especially the like the side characters that are women having like are full characters themselves, even when they're only on screen for like not even over 5 minutes total of the whole season. It not just like shows that Jacob Tierney, one, is a good writer, but two, that he knows like who his audience is. He knows that his audience is going to be gay guys and girls. Like,
Yeah.
and then whoever they drag in, you know? And he like if this was written by a Hollywood whatever person, this those women would have been way more objectified and way more like treating these guys as their gay best friends and less
Yes.
of actual people. And they would have been just like way more like Puck Bunny-esque and less real people.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so good. And I think it's again a small thing, but I think that does add to the success of the show, is all these characters are treated seriously.
Yeah.
Scott is obsessed and comes to the smoothie shop again and has to sit and answer emails and asks if he can stay in this public space after he's bought a smoothie to answer emails. Embarrassing. He's in love.
So like just ask him out on a date already.
Right?
That's what you want to do.
But he does give him tickets to the game, and so Elena and Kip go to the game, and I love like they're watching warm-ups, and like Scott skates by and like obviously nods at them, and Elena's like, "Nod it back. This is a weird first date. Like he's
Huh.
playing and we're watching, but whatever. I'm here." And Kip's like, "He didn't nod at me," and then Scott does like a second run by and like very
Yeah.
obviously
He's
waves.
like, just in case you didn't clock it the first time, I am looking at you
Yeah,
specifically.
and I love that. It's so
Yeah.
funny. Scott plays against Ilya, and we see Ilya fist bump or bumping his like friend,
Good
saying,
game.
"Good job,
I
I
love
love you.
you.
Good
Good
job,
game.
I
Good
love
job.
you."
Love you. Hey, I love that the 10 seconds we get of Shane and the 10 seconds we get of Ilya are just these really great
Uh-huh.
clips.
Uh-huh.
I also like, what did I put in my notes? I literally said, not being chirped by Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Yeah.
I also found out, so they had stunt doubles,
Mm-hmm.
Connor and Hudson, when they were filming
Mm-hmm.
for the hockey scenes. And Shane or Hudson talked to the guy who played Shane's stunt double
Mm-hmm.
because he played in college. And
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "Oh, what kind of chirps did you use?" And apparently he was bad at chirping too. So when he yells it at Scott Hunter and he's like, "Go home, you're 45 years old." Those were real chirps from his stunt double. And I just appreciate the authenticity, you
Yeah.
know? The
Not
commitment
everyone's a talented
craft.
chirper.
The commitment to the craft is really bar none.
And I do love that Scott again is like, "You're starting to sound like him." Scott knows they're in love.
Which, okay, like here's also my take on this. What's worse? Being closeted and potentially being clocked by somebody else in the league,
Mm-hmm.
or being told that you sound like your arch nemesis.
Yeah.
Because both to Shane are not good things, but like
Uh-huh.
which one's worse? Which one
Yeah.
category is
Yeah.
worse?
Depends on his view of what Scott is, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it just, again, okay, I get that they told Francois that Scott didn't know anything. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I think Scott Hunter, also people being like, Scott Hunter would never, like, my Scott Hunter in the books is dumb. Scott Hunter in the books is a little dumb. You know who
Yeah.
else is dumb? Captain America.
Yeah.
I understand that piece.
Mm-hmm.
Stick it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the man knows. He knows something.
Yeah.
He might not know what he knows, but he
And
knows something.
of all the characters, I think Scott and Kip are the most different, like as people. in the
Hmm.
show. It's not that they're doing anything out of character. It's just that as people, they are different than their book versions.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It's what the actors bring to them. And I know for sure the actor who played Kip didn't read the book before. So he's doing his own take of it. I don't know about Francois though.
I also love Robbie, especially after finding out Robbie originally auditioned for Scott,
Yes.
but
Yes.
he showed up to the audition and like, or he sent in an audition tape. I don't know, but it was just not the vibe they were going for,
Yeah.
which is funny to me.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that he still ended up being a part of the production.
Yes.
I also just think it's funny. I think based on the way everybody else looks, right? Like Jacob told them, you should look like you're an athlete, but also you can drink beer. You
Hmm.
look like an athlete, but you eat pasta. Robbie has rugby thighs. Okay.
Yes.
Those are too muscular for a hockey player. They
Hmm.
just are. You
Hmm.
are too built for a believable hockey player,
He's
especially
built
with
and he's short.
yeah. The
Yeah.
short is not bad. There are players in the NHL right now who are like,
Hmm.
I'm 5'8", and I'm like, with your skates on, for sure, big dog.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Hmm.
And I think that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So then we have the gala. So
Mm-hmm.
Kip is working because he needs to he's he's just trying to keep it pushing, trying to get into grad school eventually. And he's so panicked that he like spills food all over Scott. So we have this secondary meet cute, which I think is fun that they added. Like I don't know if they added the mess part, but like uh
Yeah.
I I think it's just a good bit. And they have us like cute little like banter at the party or the gala, and then Scott's like, "Want to get Mexican food?" Like, or he's also like, "Do you like Mexican food?" And Kip's like, "Am I a human?"
It very much. No, I love that they keep the serial killer bit going. He's like, I'm
Yeah,
not a serial killer or a spree killer.
yeah.
But that scene specifically does remind me of She's the Man when it's Channing Tatum going, Do you
You
like
like
cheese?
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 My favorite's Gouda.
Great awkward intros,
Yes,
right? That's
yes.
they are so uncomfortable. They're still tiptoeing around each other. They
Mm-hmm.
technically know nothing about each other. They
Mm-hmm.
have no proof that the other one is interested in them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a very awkward, casual way of trying to like safely test the waters.
Yeah,
Like, oh, would you like the food here is terrible and like you're working. Do you want to get a bite
yeah,
afterwards?
yeah. And it's like, oh, the line's too long. Do you want to get takeout at my place?
You could just order in.
And
And at
it,
that point, you are kind of putting more on the line because at that point, you're like more openly hitting on him,
mm-hmm.
right? At this
Yeah,
point, Kip's like kind of figuring out, is Scott Hunter asking me on a date? And
yeah,
then when he's like, we could order in, he's like, oh, Scott Hunter's asking me on a date,
yeah, yeah.
which is it was less of a date, more of a hookup, but
But
it's
yeah, they get up to the apartment, and I love that like Kip's like amazed because it's a billionaire or not billionaires, a millionaire's apartment.
yeah.
Like it is amazing, and then he turns around as like as Scott is like he's shirtless now. He's like, "Do you want a tour or?" And he's just like, "Or." I pick
Or
or.
I pick,
They hook up, and then Scott's like, "What if you stay?" And so he stays the night, and then the next morning he makes him a smoothie.
which was so cute. I thought it was interesting because I read Game Changer after watching the series. I read
Hmm.
Heated Rivalry first, but I
Hmm.
didn't read Game Changer.
Yeah.
So everything for Scott and Kip's story, like I learned from the episode first.
Hmm.
He doesn't do this monologue in
Hmm.
the book, but
Hmm.
I appreciate it so much in
It's
the
such a good
show
monologue. Yes.
because it is all of these things that he's feeling. And I think it also, I love like everybody on this cast is so annoyingly good at these small
Hmm.
things on their face, like these small facial expressions. That again, if you have your phone in your hands and you're not looking at the screen, you're not going to see it. But like he says his piece, he goes to practice, he's like hoping that
Hmm.
Kip is still there when he gets home. And then he walks in and you just see this like little shock on his face before it goes to happiness that he's like surprised
Hmm.
Kip is still there, even though he put his heart on the line.
Yeah,
And
he's
like,
like, I'm gonna be too intense for a second. People tell me I'm too intense a lot, but I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna ask for what I want, and I want you to stay. And like, and I love that Francois is like, what I learned was that you have to ask for what you want. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna write that on a
you
sticky
too.
note on my mirror. You gotta ask for what you want. God,
Yes.
It's so good. And it's like him being that intense and Kip staying for, days and days and days after, like, yes, it's the U-Haul lesbian of it all, but also it pushes the timeline along, which we need in a one episode about this book, right?
Yes.
Like, they have a feat. So we have like a montage of Kip and Scott like hooking up at the apartment and like time passing. At one point, Kip makes him a pasta salad.
Yes.
And Scott's like, "You made it for me?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm not just a pretty face." And I'm like, "Me, I would also become very infatuated with someone if they made me pasta salad."
My note for this was the domesticity making Scott Farrell is so funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it is. That's what it is. It's this domestic life he's always
Hmm.
wanted.
Hmm.
Because in the book, in the show, he's only ever been able to do something casual,
Hmm.
not in the city, because he can't risk somebody recognizing him. He like travels in the off season so
Hmm.
that he can have these encounters with people. And they're always one night stands. He never has gotten to do this,
Hmm.
where there's somebody at home for him. There's somebody who cares about him. And not only do they care, but they like care enough that they made him some dinner and it's in the fridge if he wants it.
Hmm.
Like he's never gotten to do this before. And it's so sad and cute,
Yes.
like seeing him process all of this as it's
Yeah.
happening and realizing that he can have this, but there's still this big thing hanging overhead.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, then they end up going to the art gallery, which this is the first scene that they filmed together, which is so smart because it's the most tense scene they have. So if they don't have that physical chemistry yet, then it's easier to act awkward,
Which
right?
I wonder if that was Jacob's thought process in filming that, because it
Hmm.
is such a smart way to approach scenes like
Hmm.
that.
And I will say Scott is such an asshole in this scene. And like I understand he's having like a panic attack about potentially being seen, but like he's being a dick about it.
I
Like
agree.
I'm just like, dude, like and maybe it's because I'm not like a star millionaire sports player for the biggest city in the United States, but come on. This art
Well,
lady, she's not gonna know you.
but I think something that's also interesting
Hmm.
now, the show has blown up the way it is.
Yes.
It's kind of the way that like Francois, Connor, Hudson,
Hmm.
like they've all kind of reeled back
Hmm.
being in public or how they're being in public
Hmm.
because of stuff like, oh,
Yeah.
somebody like innocuously approaches you, but you don't know that.
Yeah.
You don't know that they're not going to recognize you.
Hmm.
And it's like an unfortunate way that it's like
Yeah.
playing, but his emotions are valid
Yes.
and I
His
still don't like them.
his
Like,
yes, his emotions are very valid, but the reactions to just a person asking about buying a painting is like you could have handled it a different way.
yeah, I
Or you could just
think
lie and say that Kip's your interior decorator.
I think what also it's different from the book. I'm pretty sure
Yes.
in the book, there were like people with cameras there
Yes.
where he's like genuinely freaking out.
Yeah, which that would have made sense, but also like whatever. It's just a quick little scene. Kip gets Scott the banana socks. So cute.
Adorable.
I love that. As Scott goes out and plays his games on the road. And then at the Kingfisher, Elena calls Kip out on his bullshit, being like, one, you're in love. Two, you got to tell your dad.
Yeah.
And it breaks Kip down a bit, understandably.
It's just one of those things where, again, him having this support system who is
Hmm.
willing to call him on his bullshit and be like, this isn't you. You've been hiding in this guy's apartment. You guys don't go in public together. Like, all you're ever doing is like living together in his place.
Hmm.
And that's not, you see it later on when they see Scott at the gala, but like, it's very, you deserve sunshine.
Yes.
You shouldn't be hiding in the shadows. You shouldn't
Hmm.
be doing this to yourself because she's seen him with other people.
Yeah.
So she knows that this is not his normal.
Yeah.
She knows that this is not, it's also like he has a dad who's like, I love you. You're
Hmm.
my kid.
Hmm.
And that's all his dad has like ever taught him in his entire life.
Hmm.
And that's the same kind of people he has as his friends.
Hmm.
And I think it's so important that they had that conversation.
Yeah. Because it's the first time he's hiding himself in some way.
Yeah.
Scott gets Kip tux and keeps it in his closet, and I'm just like, the symbolism is just too
Mm-hmm.
much. But they go to the gala. Kip goes with Elena as her date. And we have that moment when Elena is dancing with Scott and she has that speech, right? Whereas like he loves you, but he's miserable. And like he deserves sunshine and so do you.
Yeah.
And I it's just so good that this comes from her.
I also did not understand. There were so many people who were like mad about her speech, which did not make any sense to me
Yeah.
because she loves Kip.
Yeah.
That is her family. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they very much, that is one of her best friends. She
Mm-hmm.
loves him. And she is watching him shrink in on himself. What kind of friend is she if she doesn't say these things to Scott? And
Yeah.
it's very clear that she is not saying them with malice, that
No.
she's not saying anything disparaging about Scott. She is telling him, you deserve this too, but you
Yeah.
keep making him suffer to make
Mm-hmm.
yourself happy. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a conversation like somebody, he doesn't have a home
Because
base.
exactly.
He needs somebody to tell him that.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
knew that what he was doing was like not good for both of them,
Mm-hmm.
but he was comfortable and he was happy.
Yeah. It's
And
such
he
a
needed
good,
like a
I
reality
don't know
check.
why people would be upset with it because it's such a good, like, she doesn't mean anything bad by it. She doesn't say anything bad. She's just speaking on the truth. It's a way to get Scott to start processing things because we only have like 10 minutes left of this episode.
Yeah.
And like, who else is going to talk to Scott here because he doesn't even really have besties on his hockey team in the show in the same way he does in the book, you
Yeah.
know? Because in
Which
the
is
book, it
sad.
takes him months.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it does take him a little bit. Kip invites Scott to the Kingfisher for his birthday as a friend because there'll be other friends there, and everyone knows that he buys smoothies from him.
But they also, what we know is that the Kingfisher is a gay bar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where Scott's hang up comes in.
Mm-hmm.
I can't possibly be seen at a gay bar. I've
Yeah.
worked hard and da 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 da.
Mm-hmm. And we find out more about his backstory that to quote support his reasoning. And then the backstory they change it here, where in the book he had a single mom, whereas here he had both his parents and they were both involved in the hockey world.
Yeah.
So it I think it does strengthen the part about him having such an like I owe this to hockey mindset and less about I owe this to the specific school I went to. It's more about hockey in general, and I think that makes sense for the context of the show.
Yeah.
But then Kip goes home, and one of my favorite parts of the whole show, it's heartbreaking and heartwarming, where Kip goes in and his dad's like, "Where have you been, kiddo?" Like, trying to be his good old dad. And Kip's just crying, and then he's just like hugging him, and he just says, "Oh, my son," and it makes me
Literally
cry.
makes me cry every time.
I'm thinking about it, and I'm tearing up.
And again, it's just these one thing I love that Jacob did in this show is giving kids the queer parents that we
Hmm.
all should have had.
Yes.
Like your parents who just love you because they love you.
Hmm.
Like so many
Yep.
queer kids didn't get to have that. And it's so
Hmm.
fucking important. And I love that the way he brought in Kip's dad. Like I
Yes.
know we see Kip's dad in the book
Yeah,
some,
but
but
it's not.
seeing it play out in like
Hmm.
real time is so much different and so much heavier.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. And then I really like that we also see Scott looking through the window of the party. So he gets so close to going, but then he walks away. And then we flash forward back to the Sochi Olympics, and he's still wearing the blue socks, but he covers them up. And like, yes, hockey players wear a bunch of different layers of socks, I know, but just like symbolically, the English teacher in me is like, he's still in the closet. Like that's him hiding
he has
himself
to hide
again.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how the episode ends. And it's just like it is within the show, just like a jarring thing to go from this Ilya and Shane like cliffhanger to then this story that again ends with we get a double like cliffhanger sad,
Yeah.
which honestly we get a triple. Episode 2, 3, and 4 are tough.
They just they packed a lot
Yes.
into 6 episodes.
Yes.
And I appreciate the way Jacob Tierney's brain works. I appreciate the way he put this show together. It emotionally devastates me, but that's
Yep.
fine. It's a choice I make every time I rewatch.
This is my free will, and I have chosen to be
I have
devastated.
chosen this specifically.
Episode 4, which is called Rose,
Mhm.
begins in summer 2014. We have another training montage that mimics the other ones with My Moon, My Man playing, and the millennial and me was like, hell yeah. The soundtrack of this show slaps. It is for the
I saw
millennials.
I saw a clip from Jacob Tierney and he was like, "This is a chance for me to force everyone to listen to my playlist." And I was like, "That's actually my dream."
Yeah, same.
I had an option on like if I was able to do anything in cinema,
Hmm.
I would want score.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best job.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yes, it's such relevant music. The music
Hmm.
is such a great choice every time.
Yeah. And we have essentially a year of montage of them training, them sexting between games, them hitting each other on the ice, and then tackling each other onto a bed while they're fucking, and then hitting each other on the ice, and then again showing that this is still
Cinematic,
going. Yes.
cinematic.
And then Shane wins the cup, and Ilya's watching and smiling. Uh, and we go to summer 2015. The training montage continues and they're checking the schedule for when they're going to hook up because they hook up whenever they play each other. And then
Mhm.
Shane's team wins the cup for the second year in a row. And then we get to summer 2016. We have a training montage. And this the same thing, the sexting, the checking the schedules. And I love that they're like, okay, we got to get through 3 years. Let's just go. And it
Bing, bang,
works.
boom. Let's go.
It works.
Yes.
And then it slows down and stops in October 2016, where Shane is going with Hayden to the aquarium with all their children.
Which, okay, it was so funny to me that so we know Hayden and Jackie have a ton of kids because
Hmm.
Hayden has problems.
Hmm.
I say just Hayden. Jackie does too. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is so funny to me. They I don't know if they like didn't have the budget or if it was just why would we have two toddlers on,
Hmm.
but you just never see his older children. You
No.
see a baby. That's
Hmm.
it. And then they get recognized at the aquarium that they're at, and some girls are like, "Oh, can you hold his?" Because Shane's holding the baby. Can you
Hmm.
hold his baby
Hmm.
so that we can get a photo? And Hayden's only thing is, "This is ridiculous. They didn't even recognize me. What about me?" And I'm like, "Homie, you're covered in three children.
Yeah, yeah.
You're preoccupied. You have
Hmm.
enough on your plate. You're fine."
Yeah. Uh, and like in this whole like conversation, Hayden's like, go out with my wife's friend. Like he's trying to set him up, and we're seeing how comfortable Shane is with Hayden until that line gets crossed. Because like they give each other shit, they're rooming all the time, but Shane's like, I can't be real with you still. I love that Shane does like an HDTV thing on his cottage. And with the yoga and Ilya just watching it and just calling
Oh,
it boring and Svetlana being like, yeah, but at least he's hot.
so I'm not saying anything.
Hmm.
I am just saying you should go. They do like an NHL series where they like follow the players in the off season.
Yeah.
You should go watch the Sid Crosby one.
Oh, okay. I'll put it on my list of homework.
Just because do that and then compare it to this.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna die. It's
Okay.
and again, I don't think Shane is based on Sid Crosby. I just think it's funny sometimes, like
Referencing.
the references.
Yeah.
A little funny.
Yeah.
But
Svetlana calls out Ilya for always texting Jane, and then
uh-huh.
Hayden also calls out Shane for always texting Boston Lily. And Hayden's even like, "Go, dude, stop being weird about it. You play better after you get laid."
Just so funny in
Mhm.
so many different ways. But like the funniest thing is like they recognize what's going on.
Yeah.
They're just you're being weirdly cagey about it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's fine. It's
Uh,
fine.
but Shane goes to Ilya's house for the first time, we assume. They hook up, and then Ilya asks Shane to stay because they have like an afternoon game, so they don't have morning practice like normal. And Shane like is convinced, and then Ilya makes him a tuna melt and has ginger ale for him.
Make sure he had to make sure it was cold enough,
Yes.
all that stuff. I
Hmm.
My favorite thing about this is like we've only we know that their emotional connection has been developing this entire time. Like you
Hmm.
see it the longer that they interact,
Hmm.
which is also so cool to think about when you think about the fact that they shot out of order.
Yes.
Like they weren't shooting this in the exact timeline that
Hmm.
scenes go. So like that's such like big ups to Connor and Hudson for
Hmm.
how they did these scenes.
Hmm.
Um, but one of my favorite things about this is we have not gotten to see them like act domestic. We have not
Hmm.
got it's the same thing with Scott, where like the domesticity like makes him feel a little feral.
Hmm.
And it's kind of the same thing with them. So like
Hmm.
they're sitting on the couch and like he's letting the tuna melts cook and like they're
Yeah.
sitting apart on the couch, but they're like talking because they have these things in common and they're
Hmm.
talking about players that they know and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I just Ilya gets a phone call. He goes and he takes it. When he comes back, he does the eye thing again
Hmm.
because Shane says, "Oh, were you talking to your dad?" Which, okay, the Russian word they're using for dad is papa.
Yeah.
I don't have to speak Russian to
To know
have an idea
that's that.
about what you're talking
Yeah.
about, but that's fine.
Hmm.
But you see his eyes jumping back and forth, and it's the processing thing that he does.
Hmm.
And he's like, "Oh, so you just speak Russian now?"
Yeah.
And he's like processing. And Shane's like, "Well, I know what the word for father is."
Hmm.
And you see his eyes just kind of pause and like soften and crinkle a little bit. And it makes me feel a little feral. Every time Ilya is soft,
Yes.
is like it's like a hard-earned win, kind of.
Hmm.
He plays this like really cocky, really over the top dude, but Ilya at the core of it is just that's what he had to be to protect himself.
Yeah.
Growing up in Russia, growing up with the father he had, like that's who he
Hmm.
had.
Hmm.
And so getting to see him be softer with Shane is always like a joy.
Yes. Yes. I also really like when they're hanging out on the couch. At first, they're like on opposite ends. And like they're
Yes.
just talking about like they talk about Ryan Price, who I love.
Yes.
I'm so excited. I love Ryan Price. Um, and so they talk, and then the phone call, and he comes back, and then they're sitting next to each other. Like, so
Mhm.
it's like that. And then it's interesting because in the last episode, there's also a couch thing. They'll point out later. I really like that Shane's move of how to comfort Ilya is like, what if I kissed you? That's how I'm going to fix your sadness. And it works.
You, you seem a little off.
Yeah. Kiss. They end up making out and canoodling on the couch, and for the first time, Ilya calls Shane Shane, and Shane calls Ilya Ilya, and they have this like intense moment, and then Shane snaps and freaks out and leaves in a hurry.
Yes. I
Yeah.
will say, so too, I feel that rejection in my bones every single time I watch that scene. It is
Hmm.
physically painful for me. It is
Hmm.
why this is my like least watched episode.
Hmm.
Um, I also my only gripe I've had with this entire production, it's not even with the production because I didn't notice it at first.
Hmm.
The names, like when they say the first name, it's dubbed over and
Mm.
you can tell it's dubbed over. And I'm like, I
Mm.
was watching their eyes. I wasn't watching their mouths the
Yeah.
first time this happened. I was watching their eyes. So I
Hmm.
had no idea. And then now every time I watch it, I'm like, I hate whoever pointed this out to me.
And now we have all been pointed out to it. So
You know what? We all gotta know. It's fine.
yeah. So he leaves. And I don't think we see the game, but that soon after Shane
Yeah,
gets
they had to
invited.
play a game
Yeah,
after
they
that.
had to play a game after that, and we
That's
don't know who
insane.
won. Yeah. I'm just like, okay, I guess hockey doesn't matter. Well, at this point, the hockey gets less and less. Shane gets invited to go out to a bar with his friends, and he finally goes because he's kind of had this moment where they're kind of had like a semi breakup of whatever they are, they're
Yeah.
on a break, because of this situation. And so Shane goes out to the bar with the teammates, and he meets his celebrity crush, Rose Landry,
Mhm.
and they hit it off immediately,
Yeah.
and they're just cutesy. Uh,
She's smart. She's funny. She likes hockey.
yeah.
Obviously, Shane was gonna like her.
Yeah. Then the next day or so, as the paparazzi photos go online, Ilya like freaks out over Shane being with her and like stubs his toe and is like cursing. Which I just think is a fun little
Somebody
touch.
I saw somebody also say, because you first see like the paparazzi shots, right? And it's showing both of them. And then you see the paparazzi shots zoomed in and in and in. And
Hmm.
it's also like the way it's framed on the screen. Somebody said that looks like if Ilya was looking on his phone and just zooming in on Rose.
Hmm.
And I don't know if that's canon, but I'm holding on to it. I'm holding on to it. It's canon to me.
A couple weeks later, Boston and Montreal are playing, and Shane's texting someone. We assume it's going to be Ilya because they always text before game, but then it ends up being Rose and being like, I'm stuck at set. Like, let's go dancing after. I won't make you dance. And Shane's like, you're going to make you dance, but okay, fine. We can go to the bar. Like, that's fine. Montreal ends up winning, and Ilya is at the hotel, and he's just pissed off because of the Rose situation and because they lost. And he just declares, "We have to go to the club. I need to get laid." And his roomie is like looking at the room service, which like same dude, is like, he's like, "Find a club. Let's go."
It's also so funny to me because you know that the pattern is when we're in Montreal, Ilya
Hmm.
disappears. So he's
Hmm.
expecting a quiet, chill night. And all of a
Hmm.
sudden, Ilya's just popping out of the bathroom, pissed off, and he's like, we're going out.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming.
Yeah.
And like, it's just, it's different from
Uh-huh.
what their
Uh-huh.
teams have come to expect from them.
Yeah. And then all the things she said starts playing as they go to the club, and
Yep.
this whole club scene is just cinema. The only thing I have issue with is Miles is too forward with him hitting on Shane. Like,
I, so my thing is, so in the book,
yeah.
Shane is attracted to Miles, like very much attracted to Miles, and he doesn't know what to do with that because he's like, but I like Rose. And he does like Rose as a person.
Yeah.
And he's really struggling with the fact that like he likes Rose. So why can't
Hmm.
he like Rose the way he feels about Miles? Why
Hmm.
can't he like Rose the way he feels about Ilya? And
Hmm.
it's like this internal struggle for him. And I think because we don't get that, we don't like we're not going to get that internal monologue from Shane. We're not
Hmm.
necessarily seeing it play out. I think showing him not flinching away from Miles
Hmm.
was part of. I also think Rose at this point is like pointing towards a threesome.
Yeah.
Like she's just like, yeah, my boyfriend, my best friend.
Hmm.
Let's go.
See, yeah, that I got, and I got like Shane kind of being oblivious to being hit on by anyone other than
Oh, that,
Ilya is
yeah.
like how I took it. But like, and like Miles being flirty and stuff was whatever. Is when they started dancing together. That part
Yeah.
I was like, that's a bit much.
I it didn't bother me as much, but I think it didn't bother me because
Hmm.
Shane just really isn't
Yeah,
reacting to it.
he doesn't
Like
react
it
to
would have
it
been different. It would have
if
been
he
different
reacted. Yeah,
if
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah,
reacted, if he pulled away, if he
yeah.
flinched, but he doesn't.
Hmm.
And I think like it's Miles is dancing behind him, and then he's figuring out that Ilya's teammates are here, which
Yeah,
means Ilya's here.
yeah.
My favorite part of the club scene is Ilya clocking Miles at the bar
Yes,
and
and
turning to scan the room. It's
uh-huh.
the best part of the entire scene for me.
Hmm.
I love it every single time I watch it. It's him just like casually being like, "What up, dude? Why would you know who Miles is?
Hmm.
Why would you know who Miles is? Because he's been looking at Rose.
Yep.
Because he's been stalking Rose a little bit on the internet, and that's fine.
Hmm.
That's normal. That's valid. But it just comes down to this thing of like, you have feelings you don't know how to process, and now the person that you want to not be thinking about is here with the other person you want to not be thinking about, and you're seeing them together.
Hmm.
And it's a
Yep.
whole thing.
Yeah, and they start. So Ilya goes and starts dancing and making out with some girl, and Shane sees him and has that slow-mo moment where he's like staring in slow-mo and watching that happen. And then it cuts to and fro the club and like Shane hooking up with Rose, but also with memories of like Ilya and like what is actually happening with Ilya. Like it's a big emotions as or like memories as well as reality. And but we do have that like slow-mo of them both like standing there staring at each other with the flashing lights and the like low
Everybody dancing
reverbed
on them. Yeah.
song. It is just it's so good and such a devastating way to end the episode because
I
they're
know.
still not
Literally.
together.
Literally.
Ah.
The way it ends, I think, is important because like we don't see Ilya hook up with Svetlana. We know he does.
Yeah.
We don't like see it.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it was more important see because Shane is gay. Like Ilya's
Hmm.
bisexual. Shane is gay. He like hasn't had the opportunity, like people wise, to really
Mm-hmm.
process that for himself, because he
Mm-hmm.
never, like in the book when he meets Rose and he's
Mm-hmm.
driving home, he's like laughing to himself. He's like, Shane likes a girl, because he does like Rose. She's smart, she's
Yeah.
funny, she likes hockey, like she is someone he can hold a conversation with. She is his Svetlana. Like
Mm-hmm.
if he was not gay, that is his Svetlana.
Mm-hmm.
And I, like, he feels this connection with her, and it's not a romantic connection, but he's
Mm-hmm.
never really had a romantic connection with anybody outside of Ilya, so he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
really know what he's doing. He
Yeah.
doesn't know how he feels, and that's normal, and that's
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, it's a
Absolutely.
heavy thing to end that episode on.
Yes. But then we get to episode 5, I'll believe in anything, the best show of any television I've ever seen. The best
Yes,
episode.
it is
Just,
my favorite episode by far.
yeah, it is. I have no notes on this one. I mean, I have a lot of notes, but like no criticisms.
Oh yeah. So my thing with
Hmm.
the way the last episode ended, going into this conversation with Rose in
Hmm.
this episode,
Hmm.
there are so many queer people
Hmm.
who got into or are in relationships, they're in marriages that feel safer,
Hmm.
feel less scary, that they are in these to survive and they're not actually living.
Hmm.
And that's what Shane would have done had he kept trying with Rose, had Rose allowed him to keep trying,
Hmm.
because he wanted to like Rose. He
Yeah.
wanted Rose to be the person he's like
Hmm.
sexually attracted to, and he wasn't. And I really appreciated her saying, "It's not a problem. A problem is something you can
Hmm.
fix.
Hmm.
There's nothing wrong with you. You're
Hmm.
just not attracted to me," because she's right. And that's like such a heavy conversation. And she approached, again, the women in this show, she approached it
Yes.
with love and understanding. And she cares about Shane as a person.
Hmm.
She was like, there's nothing wrong with you not wanting to be with me. Like, there's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with us. That's just not what we are supposed to be.
Yeah. It's a
And
perfect scene. And like
it
it's
is.
perfect as far as like in like making space for Shane to have these like thought process, but also cinematically, like the music is soft as Shane is like rethinking about the differences between how he feels with Rose and how he felt with Ilya. There's like a twinkling music, like the
Yeah.
acting, like there's a small little smile, like it is, and like the soft lighting. It's like it's in public, but it's still private, which is like still a scary thing to have this conversation at a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And when they're two celebrities. And it is just a perfect like coming out process acceptance scene all together.
Yeah.
And it's just,
And it's one of those where how long would it have taken Shane to process this if someone
hmm.
had not laid it out for him? Because Rose is also approaching it with, again, with love, with understanding, with care for Shane as a person.
Hmm.
So she's coming at him and she's just saying, did it feel better when you were with a guy?
Hmm.
Do you, like, I know that you care about me and that you're my friend.
Hmm.
Did it feel differently when you were with a man?
Hmm.
It did. And it was something that, like, he didn't allow himself to talk about. He didn't allow himself to really process out loud.
Hmm.
Um, it was a scary thing. And like just the way she kind of makes it more accessible for him,
Hmm.
because he is struggling with this, with just processing how he feels, and it's
Hmm.
heavy, it's hard, and she just eases that burden for him in a way he didn't have.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
It's so good. And then I also like that we see Svetlana talk to Ilya and like their relationship's different, like where they have literal decades of their lives together. So Svetlana is talking hockey like she always does and is like at the All-Star game, it's gonna be cool to see you play on the same line as Shane, but like he'll be center and Ilya gets so super silly goofy here where he's like he'll center me and then like pretend like tackles her and like you see how comfortable he is with her. And again, we have these two amazing women, like not just, they're there to support their friends, but like they also are not necessarily like enabling them or just being like, you know, their best friend in the very stereotypical like a gay guy has a girl best friend. Like totally it's different and it's complex and different from each other. And it's just good.
I love the native Russian speakers who have been telling us, oh, those subtitles aren't exactly right.
Yeah.
So just for reference, in that scene,
Hmm.
the subtitles tell us that Svetlana says, oh, Shane Hollander, he's gorgeous. He's
Hmm.
gorgeous. No, she calls him a pretty prince. I love that so much more. Why don't my subtitles reflect that?
Yeah.
But whatever phrasing she like refers to him, oh, he's just a pretty prince.
Hmm.
And you just see Ilya being like, oh, okay. And she's
Hmm.
like, yeah, what do you think about that, Ilya?
Yeah.
I also love that Svetlana's like, I know who he is. I know who Jane is.
Hmm.
I know. And
Hmm.
she's just like quietly sitting there in the background. And I love it.
Yeah. The All-Star Game, we're in 2017 timeline-wise. Just a reminder, the show starts in 2008.
Year 9, baby. Here we go.
Woohoo! Um, so they're in Florida, and we have Ilya in his like floral shirt, and then Miami Vice ass looking Shane walks
Yes.
in, and they have the cutest bar convo because they're able to talk to each other for the first time in public because they're on the same team, and they're just having like this cute time. Like Ilya's like his smile, like he's teasing
Yes.
Shane,
It's the
like.
first time they've been able to like look at each other in public and people aren't going to automatically assume whatever
Hmm.
and they both feel comfortable and they just keep looking at each other and
Yeah.
it's so cute
Hmm.
and I love it. And then I think we talked about it in the book episode too where Ilya's teasing him about his clothes because at this point Ilya thinks Shane is still with Rose.
Yes.
He's like, oh yeah, did Rose Landry buy those clothes for you?
Hmm.
And Shane's like, if I tell you a secret, you can't make fun of me. And he's like, oh, I'm not agreeing to that. What's the
Hmm.
secret?
Hmm.
He's like, no, you can't. And he tells Ilya that he hired a personal shopper to help him dress nicer.
Hmm.
And again, you see that thing with Ilya's eyes where he's processing this information because in the book, Ilya's thought process is
Hmm.
I'm getting married. She's pregnant. I don't need you anymore.
Hmm.
That's what he thinks Shane is about to tell him. And then Shane's like, I hired a personal shopper. And Ilya, you see his face crack, and it's one of my favorite Ilya smiles. It's the closest to Connor he ever looks. It's
Hmm.
so soft in that moment and just so cute because in his mind, this is worst case scenario. And then Shane's like, I hired a personal shopper. And he's like, that was not even on my radar.
Hmm.
I didn't need to worry about that at all. And
Hmm.
it's just like, again, we're seeing that emotional depth that's developed between them and why, like, Shane being with Rose was super hard for Ilya, even if he wasn't good at expressing it.
Hmm.
And I love the camaraderie that you start seeing between them, especially
Yes.
going into this all-star game.
Yeah. Uh, the bit when Ilya's playing with the kids and giving them shit, and that one kid who's like, Shane's the best player. He's like, who are you? Who's your father? Oh, just kidding. You can stay. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like someone important or one of his teammates' kids. And like, it's just, and then Shane's just sitting there watching, and it's so funny. It's so cute. And like they have this great like chemistry on the ice as they're playing. Ilya kisses his side of his head, which is like a very like a hockey thing when someone scores a goal, like that's like normal. But
Yes.
like then they have this like pause like as they look at each other, like if there wasn't people and cameras, other stuff would be happening. And then they watch the sunset and their fingers touch, and it's so sweet to see them together. And then Shane and they go to Ilya's room and Shane is like so serious because it's like and he has this moment where he's like, I'm gay, and Ilya laughs because he's like,
They've been
well,
hooking up like,
yeah, for the last decade.
yeah.
But then there's also the part where he's like, you feel it too, don't you? Like Shane's like, I need you to confirm that what we're feeling is real.
Yeah.
And
And he
it's
also has like
mhm,
this is such a hard but necessary conversation for
mhm,
them because they have been like this has been mainly physical and like
mhm,
you're developing all this emotional stuff on your side but just because you're feeling it doesn't mean you can guarantee the other person is and that's really
mhm,
scary and that's really hard and I also like I love the point where Ilya just kind of flops over and groans because he's
mhm,
like trying to avoid this emotional conversation
Yes.
he doesn't want to be having. And he's trying to keep it simple because it's scary for him admitting he
Hmm.
has feelings. What is he going to do about those feelings? If he's with Shane, he
Hmm.
can never go home again
Because Russia.
because Russia. And like Shane saying, I don't think I can keep pretending I don't like you.
Yeah.
I don't think I can keep acting like I don't like you anymore.
Hmm.
It has always been an act for them. Like, yeah, they're both competitive. They're at the top of their game. They're great athletes. It's always been an act that they hate
Hmm.
each other.
Hmm.
Always. The, NHL, MHL, whatever was the reason, like they were the ones who started the rivalry. It was
Hmm.
not Shane. They
Hmm.
have never felt that way. And now you're reaching this point of, I have actual feelings for you. And if you
Hmm.
don't have those feelings for me, like I can't do this.
Hmm.
And that's scary and that's
Hmm.
hard. It's this whole, like, it was such a necessary conversation for them to have, but it
Hmm.
was so heavy. And then you
Yes.
see, Ilya starts crying and
Yeah.
Shane is the one to go and comfort him.
Hmm.
That was really hard. I've actually realized anytime Connor Story cries in any
Hmm.
role, it's probably going to ruin my life. That's fine. But we don't get to see that side of Ilya. Like,
Hmm.
Ilya doesn't cry.
Hmm.
He is this big, tough hockey player who does all these big, tough things and is trying to hide his emotions because that is the kind of environment he grew up in.
Hmm.
And he's feeling all these big things and it's scary and it's
Yeah.
hard. And Shane doesn't shy away from that and shows
Hmm.
up and comforts him. And I think that's also a huge thing for them.
Yes.
And it's a hard conversation to have. So
Absolutely. We don't see them hooking up, but we see like the aftermath of Ilya like laying in bed, but they say goodbye using their first names again, right? Which shows like the emotional vulnerability. 2 weeks later, they're playing in Boston, and I love on the phone, Shane's like, "No, I can't come over," as he's putting on his shoes.
it cracks me up. He's like, I can't come over. He's literally on his way out the door
Yeah,
being like,
yeah.
this is crazy. We can't do this.
Yeah. Boston wins the game, but then they find out that he ended up not going home with his team. He gets a phone call from his brother that his dad has died, and so he goes to Russia. And then Ilya and Shane FaceTime. Again, the technology has caught up. We're FaceTiming, right?
Yes.
And I love that they didn't do the thing where they have the screen record of the other person on the screen.
Yeah.
They just switched back and forth. Such a
Yeah.
smart choice.
I like their texting works being on
Hmm.
screen.
Yes.
And also we occasionally like glimpse at the phone.
Hmm.
I really liked that this was just we are only seeing them from this angle.
Hmm.
And I love that everybody being like, it's just a slutty little smutty hockey show. Blah,
Hmm.
blah, blah. The most rewatched episode is the one with no
No
sex.
sex. Yep.
None. And it's the emotional
Uh-huh.
vulnerability. It's so good.
The moment when Ilya is like, no, put the glasses on, and he does this like almost tap to his head,
Mm-hmm.
sends me every time. We have the funeral dinner scene, which is incredible acting on all parts. Like we have a lot of Russian actors here, and then Ilya is, I think Connor's one of the only non-Russian actors here.
Yeah.
The acting between him and his brother and with Svetlana coming in, it is so good. And they have this huge argument where his brother's like, "Are you going to kick me and my family out?" And Connor, or not Connor, but Ilya's like, "I'll pay for my niece, like she'll have a money when she turns 18 or whatever, but you better not do anything because I'm going to make you hated in this town. I'll use all my fame to get to you. You suck. I'm leaving Russia," essentially. And then we have the tunnel monologue, which again, I know this show is not up for Emmys because it's Canadian and it doesn't qualify paperwork wise, but give Connor an Emmy.
Uh, Give him any and all awards. I I love how much dedication he put into this.
Hmm.
I am still not over Jacob Tierney talking about this scene and talking about, Connor goes through, they film the monologue, and he turns to the dialect coach that
Hmm.
Connor's been working with. And he said, how much of that can I use? How much of that
Hmm.
is useful? And the dialect coach said, all of it. He humbles me.
Hmm.
Like he works so hard.
Hmm.
And they both do. Like, this is
Hmm.
not to say anything
Yeah.
about how performance, but this in particular, like this
Mm-hmm.
piece of Connor that he put into this role, and like
Mm-hmm.
the way that we all thought he was fucking Russian.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he put so much into this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think it's such a beautiful thing. And I love that we got the monologue here, even though we didn't get it.
In the book.
I
Yes.
love that Jacob Tierney sat down and was like, how can I emotionally devastate everyone
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
one fell swoop? And he
Mm-hmm.
did, because
Yep.
he's a genius. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that about him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just like all of these insanely sad, true things that we have seen built up for Ilya over the last 5 episodes. He was never safe in his family. He was never given a safe place to land. Svetlana is the only piece of home that has ever been good for him.
Mm-hmm.
He went back out of duty. He went back because he cared about his dad and he wanted to make him proud. All of these things. And at the end of the day, all he wants is Shane.
Mm-hmm.
And it was done so beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way he delivered it was incredible. This show, but this scene in particular, like I hope Connor gets whatever job opportunity he wants for the rest of his life.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
whatever he wants, he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be good at it. So just give
Mm-hmm.
it to him.
Exactly. Exactly. He has proven himself when he didn't need to. A week later, Ilya's back playing. It's Boston versus Montreal. They make plans for meeting up after the game. And they like as they're playing, we get the close up of them at the like face off and like they're just like in love with each other.
It's
And
so soft and
it's
so
so
cute.
we have the devastating moment where like we have the slow-mo of we see like Shane like staring lovingly in mid-game skating backwards at Ilya and then we see Ilya's face just like go into horror where we see Shane gets hit by an accident like it's not a purposeful hit
Yeah.
but it's enough that he has to go on a stretcher like he's going like he's got really hit and I love that we see Hayden like fighting
The
the other
second,
player.
the second Shane's on the
Yeah.
ground, he's ready to go.
Yeah. And I love the awkwardness of Ilya like staying near and being like, I can't touch him because we're in a game, but also, is he okay? Is he okay? And I love delirious Shane being like, call my parents, tell him I'll be okay. He's gonna worry. Like he says Ilya, like, and
It's
everyone's like,
so
huh? Who?
well. And then, so for me,
Mhm,
I've seen people do like, what are your big three for Shane and big three for Ilya?
mhm.
Hospital Shane is in my big three.
Hospital Shane is big three.
Hospital
And
Shane
this is where I
is
realized how, because like this whole show, we're all amazed and impressed by Connor because, of course, he's acting his ass off. This is where I was like, oh, wait, Hudson is an amazing actor because, like,
yeah.
going from just straight face Shane to drug Shane. But then at this point is when I went and I found a like interview video of Hudson and how he is in real life. I was like, oh, he's amazing because
He's incredible. He really
he's
is.
not like Shane at all.
I think
At
it's
all.
also so he talked in an interview about this scene specifically,
Mhm.
and he was talking about how he kind of like showed Jacob what he was thinking of how he was going to do Shane in this scene,
Mhm.
and Jacob was like, "I don't know." And then they get to the end of the scene. He said Jacob was in tears. He was like, "That was so good.
Yeah.
That was so good," and it was because I think this is also like a very neurodivergent thing.
Hmm.
When you get high, you get a little drunk, you're high on some drugs at the
Hmm.
hospital, whatever. It is like the mask falls off because
Hmm.
you're masking all the time. Shane, especially, like you're masking all the time, and it's
Yes.
exhausting and it's difficult and it's all of these things. But
Hmm.
him just Ilya is like,
Hey, the
I,
hey.
as soon as he has his hand, he's like,
Yeah.
yes,
Hmm.
better.
Better.
I eat that scene up
Hmm.
every fucking time. I
Hmm.
love Shane. I am so obsessed with the way Hudson chose to do this particular scene because in the book it's just kind of like, oh, he was like a little loopy,
Yeah.
like it wasn't anything big. And then
Hmm.
Hudson was like, no,
No.
he's drugged and he's in love. And
Yep.
it's like I also saw some people talking about like this was every queer kid's nightmare if they had to go under for something
Yep.
was waking up and this being how they were,
Yeah.
which was so funny to me. And then I also love in this scene, like Ilya's shushing him on the way out,
Mm-hmm.
right? 'Cause the
Mm-hmm.
nurses come in. And then right before he closes the door, I swear to God, you hear Shane greet the nurse in a Russian accent. And she just goes, "Oh no." It's so funny to me. The whole scene is great.
I love when people make those little edits of like those little like hamster toys or like little tiny little bits and bobs
Yes.
recreating
Yes.
the "Will you come to my the summer or the cottage with me?
Audition.
Don't go to
Yes.
Russia. Come to my house. We'll have so much fun."
It was so much fun. And it's always like
Yeah.
I saw somebody doing with like the puck squishmallow or
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it is. And it's just like on its side and
Yeah.
upside down. It's funny every time.
Every time I'm like, yeah, this is great. Then we go forward to May 2017, and Shane's recovering from his injuries. He's watching games with his mom, and his mom is just calling out things on these games. She's like, Ilya's hurt.
We love you.
And
We big brain stuff over there.
yes, like, and she's like, it's the Scott's Hunter's year. And Shane's like, how do you know this, mom? And it's like, because she watches other people besides you play.
Like, girl, your mom knows hockey, all
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You think you're into hockey because your mom is. It's
yeah.
not the
She
other way
knows
around.
ball.
Dog.
And as like he's recovering, he's texting Ilya, but their texts are getting less and less sexual. Still flirty, but like
Yeah.
they're more just like normal people texting.
Yeah. We've moved to that point where it's
Yeah.
not just,
Hmm.
hey, see you in 2 weeks, we're gonna hook up.
Yeah.
Now it's, oh, how was your day?
Yeah.
It's so
Exactly.
generic and boring, and I love it.
Yeah. The Admirals make it to the cup game, and as the Admirals are winning, they're texting each other, kind of talking shit about Scott Hunter being old yet hot. And then we have the scene. So Scott and the Admirals win. He's holding up the cup. He's celebrating. They're watching, and like all the wags and the family comes in, and we slowly see Scott like look around and being like, oh, like no one's there. We see Kip, Elena, and his dad in the stands. And I love that they added his dad in the stands. Like that's such a
Yes.
small touch, but I love it. Um, and then I'll Believe in Anything starts to play,
Mhm.
and Scott calls Kip down, and we have the same mimicking moment of the yes, you. I'm pointing at you. This happened like way back, right? And we have the slow zoom on Shane and Ilya's faces as they're watching it, and
Yeah.
the way they act, it's like it's very obvious that like they're processing what's about to happen. And Kip comes down. They have this beautiful, huge, romantic kiss. And like Kip's like, you don't have to. And Scott's like, no, I have to do this.
Yeah.
And Scott and Kip tell each other that they love each other. And in the moment, when we see Shane and Ilya watching this, you see Shane being like, oh, this could happen to me one day. And Ilya's like, I'm gonna make this happen. Like
Yeah.
those are their reactions. And we
It's
get
also
the
like
Mhm,
important to note that in this scene, Ilya's
mhm.
packing to go to Russia. He has
Yeah.
zero plans to go to the cottage because
Hmm.
there is not a world that he can fathom where
Hmm.
they can be together like that.
Hmm.
There is no Holanov without the game changers.
Yes.
And it's like, and again, I'm so glad that they gave us an episode for Scott and Kip because this scene would
Hmm.
not have meant nearly as much
No.
if we didn't get to see how
Hmm.
they got there. If
Yeah.
it's just, oh, these two guys kissed and now they can get it would not have had the same impact.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know that I can remember the last time a piece of media has made me feel like this, like a piece
Hmm.
of cinema
Hmm.
where I am like happy crying and
Yes.
laughing at the end of an
Yes.
episode. And it
Yeah.
happens every time. Like
Every
it's
time.
every single time I'm watching it, I'm like
Hmm.
I'm not even sobbing. Like it is happy and joyful. And it is
Hmm.
this like indomitable sense of hope at
Yeah.
the end of this episode. And
Yeah.
that is all because like
Hmm.
we were watching what was going to happen. It was going to be this life where they lived it separately,
Hmm.
or maybe they lived it together, but it would still be in the shadows. Because
Hmm.
at this point, Ilya just cannot picture a life where they're together.
Hmm. And it makes so much sense for like Ilya and Shane's story that this is included, but also Ilya and Shane's story at the end of Heat of Rivalry, spoiler alert for the next episode, like, yes, they are together, but they're not out together. We don't
Yeah.
have that satisfaction of
It's a
this
happy for
story
now.
ending. They needed
Yeah.
a big, romantic, huge gesture, and Scott and Ilya don't have that in this book. And so they had to bring Scott and Ilya, Shane and Ilya don't have this in the book. And so they had to bring in the Game Changer book to make this huge over the top romantic scene.
Yeah.
And then we get the phone call where Ilya calls Shane and Shane's like, what's going on? And then we just get, I'm going to the cottage.
I love though that it's the song cuts completely and you just hear
Yes.
Shane going, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
And it's Ilya. And then
I'm going to
and
the
then it
cottage.
fades to black. Nobody's done me dirty like that
Mm-hmm.
since Game of Thrones, the Red Wedding. Okay. I looked at my little like,
Yeah.
tear streaked
Yeah.
face and I'm still like laughing.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a great ending to the episode. But like nobody has done me dirty like that in a hot
Mm-hmm.
minute.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
It's so good. Then we get to episode 6, the cottage. What an episode. And like, yes, episode 5 is the best episode of TV, but episode 6 is such a good follow-up.
And I love very much, there is such a drop in
Mm-hmm.
energy almost going into
Mm-hmm.
episode 6, but it's because this is our time for them to like be calm and be together and find this peace together that they do
Mm-hmm.
not get to have separately, that they haven't gotten to have together because they haven't had a chance to like fully relax together and
Mm-hmm.
be alone and explore who they could be as a couple.
Yeah.
And like Ilya tried to do that. Shane ruined it a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But this is their chance to kind of like make up for
Mm-hmm.
that and
Mm-hmm.
see what they can actually be.
Yeah.
Um, I love it. It is a way softer episode than anything
Yes.
else we get this season. It is slower paced. It's only the two of them for the majority of the episode, and it's so good.
And it's so accurate to the book too. So many of
Yes.
these little bits, because I again, like I said last episode, I read the book after I watched the show. I was like, oh, this is from the book. Oh, wow. But also like some other little bits, like when the title card of this episode where it says Heated Rivalry on the screen, there's a loon call that I didn't
Yeah.
pick up before, but it's here. And I was just like, oh my God, there's a loon. Also, we don't really know that Ilya collects cars and loves fancy fast cars in the show, but he's like making fun of Shane's practical good in the snow car. And like again, after reading it, like you said earlier in the episode, like it enhances it. I was like, oh, it's because Ilya collects sports cars. That's why he's giving him shit, you know?
It's practical. It's good
Hmm.
in the snow.
Yeah. And also the cottage is a mansion. And I know that NHL players like these guys are millionaires, right? They're gonna have a mansion. But the fact that they call it a cottage, it's not a cottage, guys. There's not a wood burning stove.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous though.
It's a gorgeous place,
Hmm.
right? All these windows, all this stuff. Beautiful, incredible.
Hmm.
Obviously, these guys make millions of dollars, which is insane,
Hmm.
whatever. But somebody was talking about the angle that they shot with the camera, and it was like a single shot camera.
And it's a wide lens
And
too.
they laid it out like
Uh-huh.
how they did all these angles and how they did this. I've watched that video like 5 times because I'm just obsessed with the actual like cinematography going into making this episode.
Hmm.
I think it's so cool how open not just the cast but the crew has been on
Yeah.
how these episodes were made. I know they had like a smaller budget. They're from a smaller production company. It's so cool that they have like made this educational for people who want to learn and people who are so interested in like how these different pieces came together and how all this
Hmm.
different stuff works. And they have no problem talking about it
Hmm.
and just like making it accessible for everybody, but like also just it's cool to understand how all the different pieces work to make something that you love.
Yes. I love that also as soon as they're in the house and like they're fooling around, Shane gets giggly and we see like real Shane who's like teasing Ilya. Like they're matching each other's energy in a much more equal way than they have in the past. We still get very like, classic neurodivergent things where Shane's like, I'm gonna follow the recipe, and Ilya's like, you could have cut it in half. We don't need 8 hamburgers. And he's like, oh, I
Which
guess.
is still so funny to me.
Oh goodness. There we just see them together and we get the bits right where they're like we get the whole stupid Canadian wolf bird thing, which
Yeah.
I contacted my bird experts in my life because I was like, surely Russia has loons, right? Those are northern birds. Okay. And they do have loons in Russia, but they are not common loons. And only common loons make that wolf-esque sound. So it is
And
okay. And also, Ilya is a city boy. Makes sense. He wouldn't, even if there are loons in the wilderness, he wouldn't have known. But I
I
had to confirm.
in closer to the beginning of the episode when Shane's doing like the house tour,
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah.
With Ilya like taking a chance to just like smile and look
Mhm.
around while Shane's holding
Mr. Businessman.
to the landlord. And I love, he's like, oh, sorry, sir, we would like to accommodate you. And Ilya just throws him on the bed.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm just a bellboy. You can't treat the staff like this. And
Uh-huh.
Ilya saying, I think I know how the staff likes to be treated after all these years because it's been a decade.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a decade. And it's like them being soft and playful and having fun
Mm-hmm.
in ways that like we haven't gotten to see them do before.
Mm-hmm.
We sort of got to see it like when Shane went to Ilya's house, but now it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's different. It's
Yeah.
very you asked him here not for a day, you asked him here for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ilya's asking Shane about his parents and like, would they be disappointed? Or like, what's the issue? And Shane's like, I'm scared of disappointing them. That's why he hasn't told or come out to his parents,
Yeah.
and like Ilya shares about his mom and how his mom struggled with depression and ended up, overdosing on pills and that he found her. Like, so like they're bonding, in like a very like silly, goofy way with each other, but also in a very deep emotional, like, here's my life and here's why I act the way I act. Even though we don't need any payoff of them together physically, but them emotionally together is such a good payoff for the show of these 6 episodes
Yes.
where like we've waited for them to be together and calm. But they start cooking up a plan of like how they could be together because they both are like, we need this. And so Ilya talks about maybe getting traded to a Canadian team so he can get a Canadian passport or marrying Svetlana because she is an American citizen, so he could get a passport that way. Um,
This scene
I love
is
it.
Hudson's monologue scene.
Hmm.
Like this is the scene for me where
Hmm.
I'm looking at Hudson and I'm like, I'm gonna cry
Hmm.
because he's
Hmm.
crying.
Hmm.
Like the way he shows like Shane being upset. And I saw somebody also saying like Shane's a weller. So like
Hmm.
the tears sit there and then they just stare at you and you know that they're there.
Yep.
This and then folding into him staying up at night, which is such a neurodivergent, like
Uh-huh.
to fix the problem. I just have to think about it real quietly.
Yep.
He wakes Ilya up and he's like, I have a plan. And Ilya's
Hmm.
like, it's 3 a.m.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. I love Ilya being like, but I have this problem. I'm always thinking about this slow fucking hockey player with beautiful freckles and a weak backhand. And I'm just like,
And
they're in
it and I
love.
what I really love about that scene, because it's like they like each other. They know that
Hmm.
they like each other. They know they care about each other. And that's still really scary for them.
Hmm.
Like you look at Shane's face when he says, do you want that problem to go away? And
Hmm.
it's like the little ripple on his face.
Hmm.
That's a scary question to ask.
Yeah.
This person that you've spent a decade getting to know, that
Hmm.
you care about a lot, like that's really scary. And then, Ilya
Hmm.
looks at him and says, I never ever want that problem to ever go away.
Hmm. Yeah.
He loves you. That was him
Uh-huh.
saying, I love you without saying, I love you. That's what
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah.
But and that's like such a pivotal thing for them because this is a chance for them to try and express how they feel and be honest about it and
Hmm.
talk about it and have a chance to deal with that
Hmm.
and not just have to leave the next day for a hockey game or leave in a couple hours for a hockey
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. And so Shane's like, okay, you can get traded to Ottawa because it's close by, and we can start a charity together so the public know that we're friends and not just rivals. And we can actually do good with this charity. It doesn't have to be a fake charity. It can be like a
Yeah.
real thing. And we'll spend summers together at the charity. And this is where they both like tell each other that they love each other. And like, and Shane's like, I love you so much. Does it fucking kill you too? And Shane's like, or Ilya says, not anymore. And it's just
Mhm.
like, and then they watch the sunrise together and the symbolism of them watching daylight come up because they're like talking to each other and expressing their love in the dark. And then they go
Yeah.
together in the light. And it's so good.
I also love all the different edits showing them like moving closer to each other throughout the season. So
Hmm.
like it starts with, them sitting apart on the couch and like
Yeah.
all of these different things. It ends with them like looking at
Yeah.
the sunrise, sitting
Hmm.
on this rock. And
Hmm.
it's just like so much beautiful symbolism that they put into this show, and so many small things that like maybe they did think of it, maybe they didn't, but like
Yeah.
other people saw it. So even
Hmm.
if it wasn't fully intentional, it was seen and it was
Yeah.
noticed.
Or like in earlier, when they first get to the cottage, they're both on the couch. They're sitting far away, but their feet are touching. So even when they're far away, like they're still like touching each other.
A
And I
little
really
like
like
toe
that.
hold,
The toll holds
little
and
weirdo.
like
Love that
uh
for them.
I also love that we've seen Ilya be a silly goofy guy in the pool and in the lake he's still being a silly goofy guy. And I love that.
Look at my handstand.
Yeah. And he's like,
Yes.
kissies.
I love him.
And so they're swimming around and then they leave the lake and to go back inside and
Mhm.
they see Shane's dad and who's inside the
Well,
house.
they don't see
They
Shane's
don't see,
dad for a
well,
minute.
for a minute
Yeah.
they're making out against the wall. And then they see Shane's dad. And he just gets in the car and goes and Shane immediately starts freaking out, understandably.
Sure.
Like he's like, My dad's gonna go home and tell my mom. I've been hiding the secret from them for years." Shane's also classically an only child here. His
Yeah.
best friends are his
For
parents.
sure. For sure.
Uh-huh.
It's also, for me, this is one of like the strongest couple scenes that they have.
Yes.
Also, like Ilya does not move. Like
Hmm.
Shane's pacing, Shane's stressed out. He's like, "Oh my god, this is my nightmare. This is my fucking nightmare." And
Hmm.
Ilya's just standing. He's
Hmm.
just like waiting for Shane to come to him, which he does.
Hmm.
And he just talks to him, and he's like, "It is scary, but you're
Yeah.
brave."
Yeah.
Also, tattoo that on my brain. Like
Ugh.
it is scary,
But
but
you're
you are brave.
brave.
And just the way he doesn't dismiss any of Shane's fears. He doesn't dismiss his discomfort.
Hmm.
He, frankly, he knows that it can't be as bad as his dad. So
Yeah.
like he's
Hmm.
fine.
He's like, "We're not gonna get kicked out of Canada about it."
Yeah, I'm not gonna like be disappeared by the secret police. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So, and then he offers to go with him, and Shane's like, "Would you really?" And he's like, "Yeah, obviously."
Yeah.
And then I love the part where Shane kind of like falls to his knees and he's still just hugging Ilya, and Ilya's like, "Okay, all right."
Let's put on clothes. Let's go.
Yes. And then my favorite, like somebody said this is their first fight as a couple, and it's when Shane says, "Maybe you should just wait in the car." And Ilya
Hmm.
looks at him
Hmm.
sideways and then
Hmm.
just raises his eyebrows.
Hmm.
And Shane goes, "Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I said that. Come on." And it's so funny to me because we've reached the point of silent communication, which I
Hmm.
love.
Hmm.
But it's also like, dude, you would have done so much worse if you had gone in there alone. You would have, and it's
Hmm.
fine.
Yeah.
And then they get in there, and you see
Standing
Ilya
so awkward.
awkwardly, which I saw somebody saying like, yeah, Ilya doesn't think they're gonna be like his dad, but he doesn't know what they're like. He
Yeah.
doesn't
He doesn't know
even
them.
he doesn't know anything about them, so he's kind of expecting
Yeah.
something like maybe how his dad would react.
Hmm.
And then they're just like, well, let's eat some pasta.
Yeah.
It's
I need a
also really
drink.
funny to me finding out
Yeah.
that Connor ate pasta in every single
I
take.
know. After
Seven
being
takes,
warned.
7 takes worth of pasta. And he was just like, I'm just eating. Good
Yeah.
for you, dog. Love it.
Ugh. I love it too because like when they're standing awkwardly, like Shane's like, "Where?" And then Ilya goes, "Lovers." He's like, "Ew, no, gross."
Ilya, no,
No,
ew.
gross.
That is
And
one of my vocal stems with my friend now
uh-huh.
is like one of us will say
Mhm,
lovers and the other
mhm.
one's like, ew, no, Ilya.
Ew, no,
Gross.
gross. And I love the interrogation. Ilya's sitting there letting Shane talk through it, and he's like waiting for Tim to get it right. He's like, "No, since the rookie season, summer before, like summer before." And I love that because then later we see Shane's dad correct
Yuna.
Shane's
Yeah.
mind. I'm like, oh. And
Which
like,
I love David. He's just
yes.
he's letting Shane talk, right? And he's like looking at Shane, and then he looks at Ilya, who's shoveling pasta in his mouth,
Yeah.
and he just moves the bowl closer and the
Yeah.
cheese closer, and he's like, "Here you go, kid. Here you go."
I also really love that Shane and his mom go outside and have that private moment because I think that's really important. We see like Shane being scared that his mom's essentially going to be like disown him or whatever, right?
Disappointed in him that he's gay.
Yes.
Like that was his fear.
Yeah, and then instead we just have her asking for forgiveness and being like, "I'm sorry. I made you feel like you couldn't do that." What the reaction we want, right? It's the her
It's
analyzing
another,
herself.
it's another emphasis that I love that Jacob did, where it's these are the parents queer kids should have.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
very much was Yuna not saying, like, I'm sorry you felt like you couldn't talk to me. It was, I'm sorry I made you feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, she knows she loves her son. She knows that her son knows that she loves him.
Mm-hmm.
And within that, he
Mm-hmm.
still felt some kind of way. And it's again like she recognizes that. She doesn't disparage it. She doesn't try and make it his problem, make it his fault that he didn't say anything. She says, I love you and I'm really sorry that I made you feel like you couldn't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like Shane saying I'm sorry also has this connotation of like so many different meanings. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry that I'm gay. I'm sorry that it's Ilya. I'm sorry that like you worked so hard to make me this perfect son and I'm not. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's how he feels in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really commend and applaud Jacob Tierney for the parents that he put in this show
Yes.
and for
Yeah.
adding this scene specifically.
Mm-hmm. It's so good. And as they're interrogating, they're like, "Okay, have you ever let him win?" And I love that Shane's like, "Would you ever let dad win at cards?" And she's like, "No, I'd rather die." And he's like, "Yeah, same. Like you
Yeah.
raised me, girl. Like, what do you
Also
mean?"
so funny when she's like, so you would leave Boston
Yeah.
for Shane.
Yeah.
And
Does
he's like,
loyalty mean
Mom,
nothing?
stop. And she's like, loyalty just means something. And he's like, he's trying to be loyal to me, not Boston. Which is so cute.
Yes.
It is because Ilya has never had like this
Mm-hmm.
safe place. He's had Svetlana. That's who
Mm-hmm.
he's had. Like his
Mm-hmm.
whole life, he's had Svetlana. And he
Mm-hmm.
has Marlo and he has like these guys on his team that he cares about that are friends of his.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still not his family. Like
Yeah.
that's like a difference for like for Scott, the three in the book, the three
Mm-hmm.
besties on his team, that is his family. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have a family. That is his family. For Ilya, it's not the same like camaraderie. Like he
Mm-hmm.
loves those guys. Those are his like
Yeah.
dudes on the but it's not the
The
same
same.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also really love that the momager is engaged. She's like, "Okay, so I can reach out and like maybe test the waters." And they're like, "No, calm down,
Slow down, Yuna.
calm
Hang on.
down." Yeah. And then when Shane starts freaking out and Ilya starts comforting him,
It's so soft. It's so sweet. I
"Your
love it
family is
so
here.
much.
Your
Your
boyfriend is
boyfriend,
here. You are good here." He's like,
my
"My
boyfriend.
boyfriend?"
It's just like, but it's also very funny to me because again, Shane being autistic, you haven't
Mhm.
said the word boyfriend before.
Yeah.
He doesn't know you're technically his boyfriend
Yeah.
because you haven't said that
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that's funny. And I like that that was kind of the thing that snapped him out of his panic attack was
Yeah.
my
My
boyfriend.
boyfriend?
Boyfriend.
Boyfriend? Yeah. And
Just very soft. The whole thing, again, with the cottage is like this softness. And
mm-hmm.
it's I think this is the first time in my entire life I have gone into a season finale
Yeah.
and been chill about the entire
Yeah.
thing. So I
Yeah.
was like, Jacob Tierney has taken such good care of us the last five
Mm-hmm.
episodes. Like, there is no way this episode will disappoint.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I know that we're getting a second season, maybe it'll end on a cliffhanger that I wasn't like, I was thinking it was possible that like it would end on like David walking in on them
Mm-hmm.
because that's a cliffhanger to end on.
Yeah.
Really glad he didn't. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think it serves the show better to end on a happy for now.
Mm-hmm.
But that I didn't even have anxiety about it because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
we're getting a second season. Jacob's going to give me everything I want. So it's
Yeah.
fine. Like, I
Exactly.
have no stress about this.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's just so nice going into
Mm-hmm.
this and knowing one, it's a romance book that they're
Mm-hmm.
actually following, which means I'm getting
Yes.
currently a happy for now, but like
Yeah.
I'm getting a happy ending.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting. And
Mm-hmm.
he just executed it so well. And I love all of the things happening in this episode, the foot tap that calls back to
Mm-hmm.
that first episode with the press conference, and like just all of it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
It was a perfect ending for this season. And I am so glad that we're getting a second
Yes.
season. I still can't believe they got greenlit 15 days after the pilot premiered, but I
Right?
love that for them
Yes.
because they earned this.
Yes.
One
The fact that they filmed this show in 37 days is astounding.
incredible.
It's so incredible. And like obviously they did all the locations are in Canada and they use I forget what the screen is called. It's not a green screen. That's that huge long screen that they used that for the beach. They used that for the aquarium. They used it for a lot of Russia.
Little
Like that's
Shane's commercials.
yeah, all the commercials exactly. And so it makes sense that like they had limited amount of spots, 37 days for all of that is a feat in itself and for it being that good. And like the fact that Jacob Tierney was and the editing crew was editing it like within days of release,
Yeah.
also crazy. And they're filming season 2 this summer and like Jacob Tierney's still writing it. Like the scripts
I think he hadn't started writing it
no.
a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he said, like, here's my thing. I don't want Jacob to take any outside critiques
No.
for season 2. I love what he did with season 1.
Mm-hmm.
I trust him to handle season
Mm-hmm.
2. I don't have any opinions.
Yeah.
I have zero. I want him to do what he did
Mm-hmm.
again because it
And
was so good and so like magical
yes.
that why would my opinion matter? You didn't have
Yeah.
my opinion for season 1. Look how good
Mm-hmm.
that turned out.
And
My
like
opinion means nothing.
assuming he's staying with Crave, I think there's a good chance it will be fine.
I
You
think
know,
he is.
I
Yes.
think they're staying with Crave, and I'm assuming HBO will pick it up again because it's making HBO a lot of money right now. You know, like the phenomenon of heated rivalry within like just like pop culture, and like obviously we are romance book girlies, so this would have been in our world no matter what, right? But like the fact that Hollywood itself is so obsessed with it right now is both so exciting and terrifying because in a year from now, because I was talking with Marissa about people we meet on vacation and we kept bringing up heated rivalry when we were talking about that. Um, but like what in a year from now, what is media going to look like? Are we going to have a bunch of other hockey shows trying to recreate it? I think we'll have at least one. I think there's going to be a lot more book adaptations being made, even though there already is a big push, right? I mean, all of Henry's books are being optioned right now, right? So like
Yeah.
that is already a thing, but like I think either it's going to go one of two ways. Either the Hollywood's going to be like, oh, look it, if you actually keep to the books and you trust the readers and the authors, a la Heated Rivalry and People We Meet on Vacation, it is successful. So then we'll have more of those, or we'll get a lot of people just throwing shit at the wall and seeing if
Yeah.
it sticks, which was what we've been dealing with. And like, there is a place for mid rom-coms that has been empty for a while, but
Yeah.
there's
I agree.
also a place for exquisite rom-coms like Heated Revelry or romances. It's not really a comedy, I would argue, but like, it's still in that same world that like it shows that you can have actors who have not a big you know,
Bring me
resume.
more people I don't know. I
Yes.
beg.
Bring me more people we don't know, not the same 20 Nepo babies, right? Don't let the executives touch the script.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do. And it's just, I'm so curious to see how that changes within the next year because
Yeah.
the heated rivalry tidal wave is just now starting. Like,
Oh,
we're
for
like, and we're currently filming this at the end of January.
sure.
Who
Mhm.
knows what it's going to be like by summer? Who knows what it's going to be like by next year? You
I
know,
know.
it's so exciting, but also terrifying.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Is this show a good adaptation?
It is the best adaptation I have ever been given in my entire life.
Amen.
Genuinely, like Jacob Tierney has now set the bar
Mm-hmm.
because now I know that I don't have to settle for subpar, half-assed adaptations where you
Yeah.
cut out half of the book
With a low budget. They didn't have much money.
with a low budget. But I think what is going to make the difference is it has to be stop picking it up because you think it's going to make money.
Yes.
If you like the book, you should make the book into a movie. If
Mhm.
you like the book, you're confident about the script. That's what is going to, because this did well because Jacob liked the books and stuck to them because he liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had a vision when he read the books and he made it come to life and it was incredible. And I can't wait to see what he does next season. But that's like the thing that Hollywood needs to emulate. If
Mm-hmm.
you're wanting to do this, it needs to be you're not doing it because you think it's going to make money. You're doing it because you like it and you have
Mm-hmm.
an idea of how to bring it to life exactly how it is because there's a reason you like it how it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be so interesting to
It's
see
gonna be
what
so interesting.
sparks for other people.
Especially like, and then in the hockey world, like obviously with the last, I'd say like 5 or so years, hockey romances in general have been a big thing, and the boy aquarium and all of that, right? There was the whole book talk NHL situation, right? And but then we have now the PWHL, which they, if you like the plot of Heated Rivalry, go watch PWHL. So many of them are dating each other and are married to each other or engaged
Yeah.
to each other. It's there, you know? But I am interested to see how it affects sports because the Olympics are coming up around the
Yep.
corner as we record this. And it's interesting to see that with in the context of heated rivalry, and the NHL has not taken enough advantage of heated rivalry. I think that PWHL, I think individual teams have,
Yeah.
not, I wouldn't say the whole league, but a few teams have had like um purposely have like queer couples on the kiss cam with heated rivalry
Yeah.
songs, like, so I think there's a chance there, but I am interested to see how
Yeah.
it affects the sports world as well within the next year, you know? Like
Yeah. I
when
agree.
when are Connor and Hudson gonna do a puck drop? Like they're gonna, right? Like right now they're just doing all the Olympians, which makes sense.
Sure.
But like if they don't do a puck drop at the before the game, the NHL and the PWHL are missing their opportunity. Like,
Also, I am so obsessed with how many opportunities they've been able to have.
yes.
Uh,
They
I
just
want
had
to
the
know
torch. They just
down.
had the Olympic torches
I know. I
yesterday.
watched it.
Oh my
I
God, I
watched.
cried.
I think it's also so cute. So going back to Connor and like his love of languages and the
Hmm.
respect that he puts into that, he's walking down the street, right? And he's asking how to say "you are beautiful," and the person who's walking next to him
Yeah.
told him, and he said, "No, no, no," but like plural, not
Hmm.
like you specifically. So he not only like he recognized when they said it to him that they were saying it singular.
Hmm.
He was like, "No, I want to say it like to a group."
Hmm.
And the girls who were like walking along told him how
Hmm.
to say it, and they were so excited when he like said it back. And I hope that they are doing well because
Yes.
they seem so fun and kind and lovely and deserving
Hmm.
of everything coming their way,
Hmm.
good things that are coming
Hmm.
their way. And I just hope that, like I said, that they both just have opportunities to do whatever the hell
Yeah.
they want for the rest of their
I mean,
careers.
Hudson's been doing fashion shows because he's a fashion film school boy. And
Love
so
it.
I hope he does more fashion stuff because he loves it. He talks about it all the time. And I
Yeah.
hope he gets in some really cool, weird indie A24 film that rocks the
Oh,
world because he would
I
love that.
love A24.
Yeah. Because
I
that's
would
where
love.
he belongs. That's the world where he wants to belong because he's a film, like in film school, literally, like a film quirky guy, right? Whereas Connor, I feel like he could go into a plenty different areas of film,
Yeah.
right? But
He
yeah.
has a project that he like went into and
Hmm.
did because he had the time and the money to do it
On his
right
iPhone.
after with Heated Rivalry.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what that is.
Yeah.
It's been cool like checking out some of
Hmm.
Connor's like or not Connor, some of Hudson's like short films
Yeah.
that he has linked and like he'll post when his friends have like stuff
Hmm.
going on. It's I love that they are still championing people around them.
Yes.
Um, and I like checking out their older stuff and their newer stuff, like whatever
Yeah.
they're working on. I
Yeah.
like you as an actor. I'm
Hmm.
really excited to see whatever you have going on.
Absolutely. But yeah. Wow. What a blast. Thanks, Jen, for
Maybe our
talking.
longest episode
I
yet.
know. I was like, thanks for talking for, I don't know, 3 hours.
Something like that.
Well, thanks for being on the show. Love having you.
Yeah, anytime. I love
Yeah.
being here.
Thank you, listeners, all for listening. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Read the Book First Podcast. You can check out Jen at Lit with Jen, linked below. Make sure you Subscribe to us on your preferred podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars. If it's not 5 stars, don't worry about it. And remember, read the book first, or just watch this show. Either's fine. Both.